You
That's
want to do
okay.
that now?
I will be fine for the moment. I think I'll be good. Oh, by the way, another thing I just realized, just remembered. Okay, so um at the end of last episode, I was discussing the blue pink lava lamp at the in the middle of the lineup there. And I asked Andrea what she thinks about adding a little more surfactant to it.
Your audio changed.
Me? Did I? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Did it? Is it
Audio is good with me. Andrea,
okay?
can you hear me? I think her audio is out
Andrea?
or delayed reaction. Okay, you can hear me.
Okay. Okay.
I can
Um,
hear you. It just got quieter. It might have been me. I don't know.
Oh,
okay. Well, um, I don't know. I can hear you fine. I can hear Pookie fine.
It's back
Um,
to normal. I think it was because my earbuds tried to connect to my phone.
oh, okay. Rude.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Yeah. So we ended, I asked Andrea about what to do, whether or not to change the master fluid, add a little bit more surfactant to make it a little snaky, or a little more snaky rather than just the blob up and down and everything. So I added the surfactant while it was live last time, and I have not touched it at all since then. So it's very thoroughly mixed. I mean, it kind of mixes up and diffuses through the liquid and works around pretty quickly anyway. But it's had the whole weekend to. So um, let me know what you think of that. Um, I think it's doing well. It's a lot closer to the blue guy there, which
Yeah.
weirdly just today has started getting little bits of wax like stuck up on the sides there. Right there. You see that?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what's up with that, but it's little tiny beads of the wax sticking there. So I hope they just go away. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They haven't changed. None of them have fallen off since the globe turned on, and they were all fully warmed up. So I don't know. Maybe I should turn the heat up a little bit more. But
Have
yeah,
you
I don't.
had to redo that one before?
No,
Have you
it's a
messed with
brand
it
new
at
one.
all?
Brand new one, still
Still
capped.
capped?
Yeah, I just got it recently, like last year. I don't remember when, but like summer of last year, late summer, and I was surprised how clear the fluid was when it arrived because that's, just untouched. Um, so yeah, it might. I don't want to have to pop the cap off just to get little beads of wax off. They usually come off on their own, but they usually haven't shown up on their own either. And the fact that they're there is kind of, I don't know. I don't like it.
The only
But
thing I've seen, like in the lava lamp subreddit, was that once it starts sticking to the glass, usually you have to open them and scrub out the bottles and stuff. But
yeah,
I know nothing about redoing lava lamps, so
yeah. I mean, that's basically, yeah, pour the liquid out, heat it up, pour the wax out, um, pull the coil out, scrub the coil, scrub the bottle hard, thoroughly. Um, recoat the bottle with a surfactant solution so that nothing sticks to it, and then heat up the wax, pour it back in, let it cool completely, pour the solution back in, um, let it warm up with the cap off, and see how it does. And um, only recap the bottle at full flowing temperature because otherwise
It'll
they
explode.
they have the potential to shatter. Yeah. Not always, it's not guaranteed, but it's possible that they can like pop on their own. It looks like the thing is frozen there. I don't know. Do you see it moving? The video?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Oh,
can see
there,
it.
okay.
started again.
Yeah, it was.
It for
It looked
a
like it
second.
froze. I was worried the camera there had an issue, but yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. I just got to keep an eye on the battery there. Um,
Yeah, I
I don't
sent you the
know.
link that you sent.
I remember it now.
Oh, you're gonna read it?
No,
No. Um,
Perfect. I'm not gonna read it either.
didn't we
Yeah.
read that one already? Woman starts conversing again after taking psilocybin. Woman with Alzheimer's.
I don't
Uh,
remember for sure.
it won't let me open the article, so I haven't read it for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, we're just teasing anybody who's watching with something that they know nothing about. I might as well just take care of it for you guys since nobody else.
It, it won't
So,
let me
oh
read it
wait, no,
either.
it won't open the full story. Yeah,
Correct.
we gotta be a subscriber to New Scientist in order to read the full article. Um, and oh, they want to give me notifications. No.
Yeah.
Um, Woman with Alzheimer's starts conversing again after taking psilocybin. Severe Alzheimer's disease. She hadn't spoken more than monosyllables in years. She began initiating conversation after a single dose of psilocybin. Um,
What was
who
she thinking?
also had urinary incontinence and was unable to get around without assistance, also regained control of her bladder and experienced improved mobility in the weeks after taking the drug. That's really, I mean, that's something that you can't object to that. You can't fake that,
Yeah, that's just
right?
amazing.
Right.
Having control of the bladder after taking magic mushrooms, that you can't like you can't overstate how significant that is. Like to reintroduce like conscious physical control of bodily functions that yeah, that's so I mean the case report published in the journal Frontiers in Neuroscience adds to evidence that psychedelics can acutely alter cognition and brain function. Concerns have been raised over the validity and ethics of the study. Validity, I don't know how they can object to. Well, I don't know. Validity, it depends on what they mean by validity. Ethics, I can see, right? If the woman could not communicate in more than like single syllable, right? Can you actually know, objectively know for certain that she has given affirmative consent to have a significant mind altering drug administered to her? Right.
Right.
That's kind of, I can see. Yeah. I mean, I'm of the mindset like if somebody's offering it to me, I'll say, yeah, sure. You want to give me psilocybin? Yeah. Okay. Um, so especially in a like a controlled setting like that where you know exactly how much, like that's really, I don't condone like the take mushrooms and go out in public and adventures. That's not responsible use in my opinion, but um, set and setting is important in order to really, well, I don't know. It's recreational use, I guess I do condone, but yeah, there's I'm blanking on the term right now. Harm reduction. Yeah, harm reduction concerns. Like if you're going to be in that altered state of consciousness, you're going to put yourself in danger if you're out in public and doing, right? Like driving. You don't want to be, right? So there's a lot of things out in public, anywhere out in public that could result in issues and escalating into something like a bad trip that, would be psychologically damaging. So yeah, it's important to do it responsibly and not put yourself in danger, yourself or any other person in danger. But that's not the issue here. It's all just a tangent rant that I really did not need to bring up. But the ethics,
It,
yeah, okay. Sorry.
I was just saying it applies, so go for it.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So circling back, I don't know what they mean about validity. And that's right where the whole thing stops. And want the full story? Subscribe to continue reading. I don't want to subscribe.
Mm-mm. I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, they did a good job of teasing it. Like, oh, I really want to know, but I can't
I got too
justify
much.
paying them just to finish reading this article. Sorry.
I
They're
got too
interesting, but
much.
not that interesting, right? I
Yeah,
Yeah.
know.
I got a bunch of stuff on auto pay that I need to stop because
Yeah,
some of the
it's
stuff
easy
I don't
to,
need until I see it's been paid for next month, and I'm like, I didn't use that last month. So yeah, I got
yeah,
some canceling to
recurring
do today.
payments.
I should probably do that with some of my streaming services.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
It's like
Um,
I get Hulu with Disney, but I got my daughter Hulu separately a while back, and now she doesn't use it because she has the connection with Disney. And I was like, why didn't you let me know that you're not using it? And she was like, I thought you knew I wasn't using it when Hulu's on Disney. And I was like, I did give you that. I just didn't even think about it. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought of that.
yeah. Um,
It's easy to just let it go.
right. Uh, yeah. When
That's what they
everything's paid,
rely
then you
on.
don't mind. And
They
yeah, now I
try to,
gotta cancel that now.
yeah, they try to keep it as like low key as possible so that you don't notice, right? They don't
Yeah.
bring up a big, do you want to continue and pay for next month's
Uh,
service?
that's in your
Are you
email.
satisfied with what we've given you and wish to, yeah, I don't know. That's all part of what the terms of service that they
Nobody
Probably.
reads.
Yeah, they
Right.
don't, that they don't need to get affirmative consent every month. They can just recharge ahead of time. I I don't know. So what else can we
I
how
got
about
something.
this one? I want to talk about this one real quick though.
Go ahead.
Here's something has to wait. Sorry. Mars orbiter watches Perseverance rover cross the marathon finish line. How cool is that? Yeah. Space photo of the day for June 29th. This is space.com. If anybody wants to go and look it up, the photo of the day. Yeah, it's super like the surface of Mars, and there's a mountain, and you can see the little trail that kind of around the mountain and through a little mountain pass. A spacecraft orbiting Mars watched its friend, the Perseverance rover, finish its first marathon on the Martian surface. There weren't any medals handed out, and there wasn't any competition, but we're proud either way. On June 14, 2026, NASA's Perseverance rover completed the equivalent of a marathon, having driven 26.2 miles. Oh, 26.2 miles, period. After landing in the ancient lake bed Jezero crater in 2021, the rover has been hard at work exploring, sampling, and collecting information to help scientists put the pieces of Mars's history together. NASA's Opportunity rover also managed to reach a marathon distance on Mars, though it took over 11 years to make it that far. Perseverance managed to make it to this marathon milestone in just 5 years and 4 months, and the rover is still going strong. But Perseverance isn't making history alone. It has the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter watching from orbit. In this image captured on June 13 by MRO, we can see the Perseverance in the home stretch of its marathon rolling toward the finish line in a region of Jezero crater called Arb Arbot, Arbot, Arbot. I don't know if it was a Frenchman who named it or not. Arbot. Arbot. Oh. While the rover is barely a speck from this orbital distance, this additional vantage point allows the researchers a different perspective on the robotic explorer. With the speed at which the rover completed this marathon, speed, um, and how well it continues to explore Mars, who knows? Maybe Perseverance will be the first to manage an ultra marathon on the red planet. Why is it incredible? While crossing the Martian marathon finish line on Mars is an Perseverance has done so much more than just travel this impressive distance. In the past 5 years and over 26.2 miles, Perseverance has accomplished quite a lot. The rover has captured an incredible wealth of imagery, data, and even samples of Martian material. Last year, observations made with the rover revealed the most compelling possible biosignature found yet on the planet. And more recently, the rover found even more evidence of possible past life in a similar location. Oh, okay. Wait. Yeah, and then after that they've got okay, yeah, sorry. That was the end of the article. That was a really kind of awkward just boop end. I don't know. Writers these days. Thanks, American school system. Whatever. It's really cool though. I mean, the pictures are the most important part of this. the initial picture right up top has that little yellow circle, a little speck, and there's the rover. And then after that, they've got a bunch of, I think they're Mars photos. A lot of them look like Mars rover selfies. Did they give Perseverance a selfie stick?
Must have.
I guess. I don't know. I don't see any sort of arm. It's crazy. It looks like a lens looking at its, oh, I don't know, like a camera looking directly into the lens of whatever camera took that picture, but there's no arm. So I wonder, does the rover have its own rover to go out and boop, take a selfie and then roll back in? I don't see any like trail. Or would they
AI
be one of
photo.
those like Boston Dynamics little dog things, like doot, 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 walk over? That would be a cool rover, cool Mars rover. Bet that takes a lot of power though. They'd need either really big batteries or some sort of like nuclear generator. And once you start scaling up that big, I mean, damn, you'd need a big walkie dog robot thing to carry around its own nuclear station
Is that a scientific term, walkie dog robot?
thing. Walkie dog robot thing. Yes. Mm.
Think I
W
want one.
WRDT. Word. Oh wait, no. Walkie dog robot thing. WDRT. Widert. 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 Weirds. Words.
Spell that word.
I gotta write it out. I gotta see it in order to figure out how I would, you know, what dog robot thing. Word. Dirt. Word. I don't know. There's no vowels. I don't. WDRT. Yeah.
Is that someone's first name or something? Is that like the name of a company?
No, it's the initials of the walkie dog robot thing.
Oh,
So how would you pronounce that? WDRT.
I don't know. The W and D together threw me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dirt,
Uh,
dirt. Maybe we could take the walkie out and add that as an adjective descriptor in front of it. Walkie dirts. DRT. Walkie dirts. That's kind of fun to say. Walkie dirts. And then maybe, I mean, they could just a walkie dog. Well, yeah. Do you need the walkie? Because the robot dog thing, dog robot thing. Yeah, dog robot thing would,
what's in the article?
as opposed to what, a wheeled robot dog thing?
I
Ah,
don't
it's
know.
still the same initials. Dog robot thing. Dirts. So walkie dog, walkie dirts. Oh, or rolly dirts. That's now I remember rolly dirts. Walkie dirts and rolly dirts. Yeah, so the walkie dirts, a nuclear powered walkie dirt on a rocket. We'd probably need a super heavy starship thing to get that out there.
I got something,
Imagine
Mark.
how cool that would look, though. We need to get someone to make like some mock-up animations of like the dog coming down and it's these parachutes and the Martian wind blowing and the dog, and then it gets close to the ground and you drop it and it just catches itself. And then a little camera guy pokes up and looks around. Yeah,
Do you think they put
sounds
him on a
fun.
leash?
I mean, uh, we'd need to send one of like those humanoid robot things, those Tesla robot things to walk it.
The walkie dog?
Yeah,
Mm.
and scoop up its spent fuel rods, eject out the back end. We don't want to pollute the Martian environment or our scientific studies, right? We can't contaminate it, so got to go and scoop up. Where would he put it though? You just have to carry it around, I guess. A little bag of nuclear fuel rods.
I got an article I can read. It says British influencer faces death by firing squad after being charged with murder in Dubai.
Oh,
Yeah. A British TikToker has been charged with murdering her online lover in Dubai. Brooke George, 23 years old, has been accused of stabbing a British man, 26 years old, to death after she flew out to meet him in the United Arab Emirates. Did I say that right?
yes.
The former John Lewis shop assistant from Gravesend claims she was repeatedly abused by him and reached for a kitchen knife in self-defense during an attack. Pressure group denied, detained in Dubai said. Brooks family and uh, Brooks family are desperately trying to fight her case amid fears she faces a firing squad if convicted. And her mother, Teresa George, I don't know the way to spell Teresa. Her mother said, I am deeply concerned for her welfare. The daughter I spoke to that night was utterly terrified. I firmly believe she was desperately trying to get home and away from whatever had happened to her. The man Brooke is accused of murdering is William Treby, also from Kent. The TikToker was arrested as she tried to board a flight back to Britain and charged with premeditated murder. Detained in Dubai, said Brooke met her lover on Facebook and traveled to Dubai to meet him. The first week long visit was described as positive, but his behavior allegedly changed dramatically during her second visit when he came controlling and abusive. Brooke claims her 26-year-old man became intoxicated and assaulted her in the Jumeirah village, I would say. An influencer contacted her family in a state of panic after allegedly being repeatedly punched and arranged a flight home with the help of her friends. However, when she returned to her apartment to collect her passport, she claims she found her possessions sprawled all over the apartment. Brooke allegedly she was punched hard in the face and attacked when she begged for her passport back. Brooke says she feared for her life and stabbed him after grabbing a kitchen knife within her grasp in self defense. She took back her passport and left the flat and tried to flee to the UAE. Uh, but she was arrested at Dubai airport and charged with murder. Detained in Dubai, she is now being held in notorious Dubai police station, where she allegedly has been forced to strip naked in front of male officers. Her family also claimed she has been denied legal representation and left unable to understand proceedings due to language barrier. Her mom, Teresa, and said Brooke is absolutely terrified after the stabbing. She said, I have never seen my daughter so frightened in my life. She was crying uncontrollably. I could see that one of her eyes was badly swollen and was beginning to close. Sterling, from detained in Dubai, called the UAE to be given protection, appropriate Medicare, medical care, legal representation, and immediate British consular counselor. I don't. These words are spelled wrong. Counselor assistance. Investigators must consider the possibility Brooke was a victim of serious violence, not a suspect. That's all. Um, I would never go meet someone in another country that I met on Facebook.
I
But
agree.
yeah, and now she's in this um, a TikToker. Hmm. How you feel about that, Mark?
Um, well, um, UAE is one of the more um Western westernized or progressive, or I don't know what you would call it, of the Arab, like, Gulf nations, but it's still not westernized. I don't know, no better way to say that. I mean, Sharia law says that a woman's testimony is worth half that of a man's. Um, and she requires two witnesses to confirm any allegations or accusations. Without two witnesses, um, she's assumed wrong, um, leaving her unable to understand the proceedings doesn't surprise me. They don't need
Yeah,
her
that was
to
messed up.
understand. It doesn't matter. Um,
Yeah, she's
her
only a woman in their opinion.
right,
What does a woman know?
her understanding of what is happening to her and what is going to happen to her is irrelevant. It's not going to change any of it. Um,
Right.
being held in a prison by male guards, if all that's happened to her is being forced to strip naked, then she's getting it easy. Um, in a prison like that, the treatment from the guards alone, much less other prisoners, whoever's being held with her, wherever that is. They said the infamous such and such prison, right? So if it's infamous among um, Gulf nations, then it's a pretty tough place. So I, assuming she's not guilty, I wish her the best of luck. If she is guilty, I don't know. There's nothing that can happen to change what they're going to do to her. Firing squads, honestly, probably not that bad of a way to go. If you're
Sounds
gonna,
like it sucks.
I don't know, if you're gonna have the death penalty um, imposed upon you, I think that a firing squad can take care of it pretty quick, clean and easy, assuming they aim well. Um,
That's what I was just thinking. It depends on how good their aim is and
yeah,
where they aim at.
what they're aiming at. Yeah.
Mm.
If you got a line of five, three aim at the chest, two aim at the head, when they say fire, that's it. That's pretty merciful compared to some other ways that people have come up with. Um, it's just the build up, right? The anticipation, it's kind of dramatic. But that's going to be the case for any capital punishment. Any like you're walking, you know when it's going to happen, right? That's not going to change either way, right? So I don't know. I would
And she get a lawyer from like the States or
think isn't she? Didn't they say British?
oh yeah. Okay, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
I mean, what she needs is a lawyer that understands Emirati laws, and can speak Arabic, their particular dialect, especially if they're going to be working with the legal code. I don't know how complex the legal code is. If they're following Sharia, then the jurisprudence is all very well laid out, and the court proceedings are basically just the motions that they have to go through in order to make it appear like justice is being done to Western eyes. Um, it's um, it's a terrible situation, no matter which direction you look at it, right? It's terrible. Um,
Yes.
Firing squad thing. That's what surprised me. I didn't know
yeah,
they still did stuff like that.
I think there's still some states that have firing squad as if you're gonna um
When you
I
say
think you're right.
states, do you mean here in America?
Yes.
Oh, didn't know about that.
yeah,
I heard
five
about it, but
states.
I didn't know they still did it.
Yeah, five states: Idaho, Mississippi, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Utah.
Mm.
Idaho made firing squad its primary method, defaulting to lethal injection only if necessary. If they run out of bullets,
That's
they
what I was
can
just thinking. So
they
what would
can
make it
pump your
necessary?
veins full of poison. Additionally, the U.S. Department of Justice allows firing squads for federal executions. Okay, so that's big. That's bigger than any of the states. If the feds can do it too. It just isn't used very much, right? Or isn't publicized, isn't talked about. Several
A lot of
several
people don't like
states.
talking about the
Huh?
death penalty. A lot of
Yeah,
people don't like talking about the death penalty. It's very controversial.
I mean, it's not something to take lightly. Anybody
Not at all.
who's comfortable and happy talking about it has got some
Mm.
issues. But yeah, it has here several states such as Florida, North Carolina, and Tennessee have laws that permit the use of firing squads strictly as a fallback measure if lethal injection is struck down as unconstitutional. Okay. I think I remember reading that there was a pharmaceutical manufacturer overseas that was going to cease shipping their drug over to America because um, it was being used in lethal injections. And like Italy, it was an Italian manufacturer, and like Italy thought that they can tell tell America what to do with their laws, and that, you guys are bad for doing this. Um, that's finger wagging basically. But
Um,
I don't remember.
I sent you an article, Mark, that you sent to me. Perfect time for you to read it. Andrea, did you see it? It's a good article. It
Yeah,
says,
Hold
um,
on, hold on, hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Is
there you
January
go.
2011, US-based pharmaceutical company Hospira announced it would cease production of sodium thiopental, key anesthetic used in U.S. lethal injections, after the Italian government blocked its plans to manufacture the drug at a facility in Milan. Italian authorities opposed to the death penalty required Hospira to guarantee that the sodium thiopental they manufactured at their Italian plant would not be used in executions. It was an uncontrollable supply chain. Hospira determined it could not guarantee this restriction because the drug was distributed through third-party wholesalers. So rather than risk liability with Italian authorities, Hospira halted its production entirely, effectively executing the sodium thiopental market, which caused a major shortage of the drug for executions in the United States. Okay,
I
so
remember
we
hearing
just
about that.
we just got backed up. We didn't stop. It just slowed us down for a bit, right? Following this, other international pharmaceutical companies, including Danish drug maker Lundbeck, also took steps to restrict the sale of their products, furthering a nationwide scarcity of lethal injection drugs. Why not? Why would they not just make it entirely within the United States? Trump needs to tariff it, get it back in. American lethal injections need American drugs, right? Good, the best drugs. American, big doses.
Go America.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
We can have the
Um,
legal injection conversation because that's interesting.
mm,
He'd probably rather do the firing squads because, a lot of MAGA people are really into their guns.
are you implying that I'm a MAGA person?
No, I'm not saying all people who are like their guns are MAGA people in any way.
Okay.
I like my gun very much as well. But I'm just saying there is a great majority of the MAGA people that seem to be very into guns.
I mean, yeah, Second Amendment. It makes sense. I can see why they would support it. And I also, I'm not anti-MAGA, anti-Trump either. You know, I want to straddle that fence, play both sides. I don't want to piss any one side off because we're still trying to build an audience. So I'm just gonna get all wishy-washy and not commit to anything, right? I'm just gonna say case by case basis. Everything is just case by case basis. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I can't help that the MAGA people agree with a lot of what I think.
I understand.
But it's
A
my
lot of what you
thoughts.
think.
Me. They agree with me.
That's because Mark's always right.
Right. I sent you another
Ish.
article.
As
Uh,
close to right as I can get. Uh,
yeah, check that out.
which ironically I do tend to lean right politically. So hey, wordplay. Um, oh yes, okay. So this next one for Marijuana Moment. Um, this is a big deal, I think. Um, Marijuana Moment asks DEA judge to allow live streaming of rescheduling hearing for transparent public access. Marijuana Moment is asking DEA judge to reconsider his decision to prohibit live streaming of a hearing on the Trump administration's cannabis rescheduling proposal that is scheduled to begin next week and features only opponents of the reform as invited participants. That's bullshit. What the hell is up with that? That's bullshit. Only opponents invited to participate. Why? Chief Administrative Law Judge Derek Julius last week issued a preliminary order laying out rules and timelines for the marijuana rescheduling proceedings, simultaneously recognizing that, quote, national public interest in this issue predicates towards a policy of transparency, end quote, while also determining that the hearing will not be televised, live streamed, or broadcasted in any way. Well, there historically has not been a lot of live television broadcasting of a lot of legal proceedings. That's not that's not like unprecedented, I'll just say. It's just live streamed on something like this as a first. But televised or broadcasted right out of uh the courtroom is not always permitted. So I'll give them that, I guess, at least. That's not like they're being particularly unreasonable there. Um,
The
but as
only
a result,
opponents
people,
thing is
yeah,
the opponents divided though. That's kind of screwed up.
that's 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 not cool. But yeah, that's not a policy of transparency. If they're not willing to even look at or listen to um the yeah, one entire side of the. Anyway, um, as a result, people who wish to observe the historic cannabis reform process must attend in person in Arlington, Virginia, under the judge's order. In a letter sent to Julius on Tuesday, Marijuana Moment counsel Joseph Bondi noted that the DEA permitted live streaming of an earlier, subsequently canceled hearing process on the proposal to move cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 that took place during the Biden administration. Okay, well, they permitted live stream of a subsequently canceled process. So did it happen or not? I'm not sure about that.
It sounds like they had decided that it was going to be permitted, but then the hearing got canceled. So it
Okay.
didn't happen. So it sounds like to
It
me
would
anyway.
have been permitted and then they were like, oops, no, we're not gonna even start that. Or did
Yeah,
it
and shut
start
down.
and then they canceled before they finished the end of the... I don't know. Either way, it wasn't, it never actually materialized. Quote, that prior determination was correct. The public interest rationale for contemporaneous access has not diminished, Bondi wrote. If DEA believes safety, witness management, or operational concerns now require a more restrictive access regime, those concerns should be identified and addressed through narrow conditions rather than a categorical ban. Limited physical seating in Arlington is not a meaningful substitute for live streaming. Marijuana Moment, like many members of the press and public who follow federal cannabis policy nationally, cannot rely on a handful of available seats as a practical means of observing and reporting on the hearing. That is precisely why DEA's prior live streaming directive mattered. It allowed those physically outside the courtroom to observe the proceeding without disrupting the hearing, burdening security, or conferring party status on anyone. In a proceeding of this public significance and in light of DEA's prior live streaming directive, a public hearing is not meaningfully public if access depends on the happenstance of limited physical attendance. Marijuana Moments attorney wrote, Marijuana Moments attorney wrote to the DEA judge. Quote, delayed access to transcripts is no substitute for contemporaneous observation. The press reports events as they unfold. The public evaluates government action in real time. And in a proceeding of this magnitude, transparency is not a courtesy, it's a safeguard. The letter makes clear that Marijuana Moment, quote, does not seek to participate as a party, present evidence, examine witnesses, submit proposed findings, or alter the merits schedule. And, quote, seeks only contemporaneous public and press access to an administrative hearing of recognized national public interest. Bondi requested a response from Julius by Thursday. Meanwhile, the attorney is also representing a major cannabis reform organization that is asking DEA to reconsider the decision to exclude it from participating in the hearing as an interested party. National Organization for Reform of Marijuana Laws, which represents the interests of people who use cannabis, filed the, quote, emergency request for reconsideration on Friday. That's all lowercase. There's no, so it's not like, it sounds like it doesn't, oh, keep bumping the camera here. It sounds like it's not an official thing, emergency request for reconsideration. They're just trying to get their foot in the door somehow. Um, I don't know. Saying that public interest will be substantially harmed if the record omits the consumer perspective. DEA last week announced that it had selected participants for the marijuana rescheduling hearing, and only opponents of the reform have been invited to take part, some of whom have filed litigation in an attempt to block the reform. No reform supporters who expressed intent to participate were invited. Ah, Normal's exclusion, quote, Normal's exclusion, if not corrected immediately, will deprive Normal and the cannabis consumers it represents of meaningful participation in pre-hearing procedures, witness presentation, exhibit designation, cross-examination, legal briefing, and any other proceedings necessary to compile a complete record, Bondi wrote. Bondi, who serves as chair of Normal's board of directors, wrote to DEA Administrator Terrence Cole, quote, the prejudice is immediate, it cannot be cured, and after the hearing closes. According to several rejection letters Marijuana Moment has seen from cannabis reform supporters, DEA said they do not meet the definition of an interested person to participate because they are not, quote, adversely affected or aggrieved by any rule or proposed rule issuable. Normal said in its request for reconsideration, however, that, quote, DEA's denial rests on a mistaken premise that Normal is not adversely affected or aggrieved by the proposed rule because Normal supports removing marijuana from Schedule 1 and recognizes that Schedule 3 is preferable to Schedule 1. Quote, that is not Normal's position. Normal supports removal from Schedule 1, but Normal does not concede that Schedule 3 is the correct final federal treatment for marijuana, Bondi wrote. Quote, Normal's position is that marijuana should be removed from the CSA schedules and regulated under a cannabis-specific federal framework directed to public health, consumer safety, product integrity, youth prevention, truthful labeling, testing, research access, impaired driving policy, anti-diversion, state-regulated market realities, and illicit market displacement. The attorney wrote that the inquiry from Schedule 3 status for marijuana is quote not more ideological is not mere ideological disappointment. Quote, Normal's members would remain subject to federal controlled substance status and the legal consequences that flow from it. Adult use consumers who lawfully participate in state regulated markets would remain outside coherent federal recognition, Bondi said. Schedule 3 would preserve federal illegality for cannabis activity outside of federally authorized medical, research, or registrant channels. It would continue federal state conflict, public confusion, stigma, collateral consequences, and consumer safety harms. The hearing will begin on June 29 as scheduled and is set to conclude no later than July 15. Okay, so they're doing it already. Acting Attorney Todd Blanche in April issued an order that immediately reclassified state licensed medical cannabis as well as marijuana products approved by the Food and Drug Administration from Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substances Act to Schedule 3. Right, okay, so state licensed medical cannabis. That's interesting. So it's already for anybody who has a medical card in any state that has a medical program, it is already automatically moved, reclassified from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. So you're already covered and considered a legal user of a Schedule 3 controlled substance. So you're no longer a federal criminal immediately as long as you have a medical card. That's I hadn't realized that was part of what was issued in April. So that's good to know. And that's really, I mean, that's big. Yeah. Anyway, this is a really long article. How much longer is it? Oh my gosh. Can we I don't know. I kind of get the point. It feels like they keep saying the same thing. The DEA says no, and we say yes, we want to go, and they say no, and we want to get in there, and we think it should be legal, but they say no, and they won't let us in, and we want to come in and watch, but they say no.
Um,
It's like, come on.
You sent that link to me, so it was so long, so I had to send it
Yeah.
back.
Well,
I thought it was
I
something you were
read
interested in.
I read the headline and I read like the first paragraph and I'm like, this is interesting. This would be good to talk about. I didn't read the whole article beforehand because I wanted to see what it says and kind of give like real-time commentary. And here it is, the real-time commentary. This article is exhausting. Can we move on?
Yes.
Or I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you have any thoughts on this? Um, Not to just like bulldoze and go like, hey, let's go somewhere. What do you
I
think?
don't understand why they're trying to hide it. It just
Yeah,
makes it seem like they're trying to hide it, which makes me not trust the government even more.
yeah. Uh, I don't know. What about you, Pookie?
I just spilled
um,
coffee all down the front of me.
What?
I'm sorry. I don't
He's
have
laughing at me.
I don't have a response for this one.
No
Yeah,
opinion?
no opinion. There we go.
Okay. Cool.
I was reading the next article.
Oh, already lined up
Yeah, because
in
we
the
talked about
chamber,
it.
hammer cocked, ready to go, finger on the trigger.
Yeah, press that thumbs up button, everybody. I got to get more energy.
If you find some, send it my way.
Yeah, it's like the RSO felt so good to sleep,
Yeah.
but uh
It can
and then
linger the next morning. It can
yeah,
still kind of like
so it's like I had to go get the sativa, to help me wake up and uh yeah.
a little bit of
Anyhow,
caffeine. Was it a late night or, well,
no,
insomnia, I
just
guess. Every night's a late night, right?
oh no, it wasn't. The
No?
RSO helped me get to sleep before 1.
I, I mean, before one still sounds kind of late, but I guess
That's what I was
that's
thinking.
that's an
That's not
endpoint.
late when
So
your
like,
usual is 3 to 2:30 to 3. That's
yeah.
the usual. Um, Getting to sleep before 1 is good. Good sleep.
But I mean, before one is only like an endpoint. So technically, like anything like 9 p.m.,
um,
get a full night's sleep.
Last time I
Full
seen the
night,
clock, it said
probably.
12:39.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I slept good last night, but just waking up, forgot my B12 last night, so got a little fatigue from that. But I'm okay. Uh, Anybody out there watching, press that thumbs up button. I'm not as thumbs up as I can be right now, but
Every thumbs up gives Pookie more energy. Help
there you
Pookie.
go.
Like the episode.
Don't lie to yourself, people. Anyhow, yeah, I got this other article here. I was excited that you were excited when I told you about it. So here it is. It says UK's most tattooed man, body art, admits he is petrified, in quote, petrified of needles. And this man has tatted face and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at his eyes.
right. Yeah, the tatted eyes too. Anyhow, I'll read it. Like inked up everywhere. That's why I couldn't do the eyes. But yeah. Britain's most tattooed Britain's most tattooed man has revealed he is, in quote, petrified of needles despite spending 1,600 hours being injected with ink. King of Ink, Ink Land King Body Art, the extreme Inkite That's all one name. Better known as body art. Has covered almost every inch of his body in tattoos and has even had ink injected directly into his eyeballs. Despite getting first tattoo at 16 and going to have various body modifications, including parts of his ears removed, needles still terrify him. Speaking to Metro, the 46-year-old who was born Matthew Welland, um, before he changed his name by deed poll, said, given the amount of tattoos I've got, you'd assume needles wouldn't bother me. But I'm petrified of them and have been since school. I remember getting the TB jab and it just scared me out of my wits. I hated it and I thought I'm going to do whatever humanly possible to avoid them. The tattoo enthusiast who previously worked as a call handler before moving to voluntary roles says the fear has made every tattoo session a mental battle. No pain, no gain is the way I look at it. He said, you can't have the artwork without pain. I look forward to the end result. If you want a piece of body art, or if you want a piece of art on my body, I have to go through a war with my body to make the process as painless as possible. Body art ensures he gets a good night's sleep before the session, drinks a lot of fluids to keep him hydrated, and works with relaxing tattoo artists. Body art got his first tattoo in English Bulldog on his right arm when he was just 16 at a studio in Digbeth, Birmingham. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong, he said. That sucks. It got infected, and people I worked with kept slapping my arm, which made it worse. My first tattoo was almost my very last tattoo. Despite the experience, he found himself drawn back and had another tattoo around a year later amid threats from his parents that they'd kick him out of the family home in Birmingham if he did. Luckily, they didn't, and he went on to spend 30,000 pounds covering almost his entire body in ink, earning him earning him the mantle of Britain's most tattooed man. This has included having ink injected directly into his eyeballs in 2012 and in 2014. His extreme experience has conflicted with facial recognition technology, and he previously revealed it has stopped him accessing pornography as the scammers believe he is wearing a mask. Um, Yet the process has never been easy, and body art has never lost his fear of needles. And if you guys see that picture of him fear of needles, and he's just like hanging there, allowing all those people to tag him at one time, it's insane. I don't know how he's afraid of needles, but I'll continue. It says to minimize the phobia, he uses the above technique to help him cope with pain and anxiety he experiences whenever a needle touches the skin. These methods were tested to limit in 2016 when he suspended from the ceiling while 36 certified tattoo artists worked on him simultaneously for a Guinness World Record. Mm. It was like Armageddon, but I got through it, he explained. I've been told so many techniques for dealing with my fear. Sometimes they work, like breathing techniques old school tattoo artists give you, but sometimes they don't. You breathe in with the needles or slowly tearing into your flesh and breathe out again. Sometimes it works, but other times I end up hyperventilating and thinking, why am I going through this? Despite being covered almost entirely in ink, body art has drawn red lines at having his eyelids or lips tattooed because of the pain. But
But he
there's
injected ink into his eyeball.
that's what I'm like. What tops that? Uh anyhow.
Sorry. Proceed.
How? Like,
I don't
how
know
can you
how.
stand that? Like,
Mm,
see a needle coming closer and close. Like, oh my God, staring right at it.
mm. Actually, it's only few sentences left. It says, but there is little else left to ink up, and body art has not had a tattoo for the last 4.5 years. His last piece of blackout half sleeve, which he says could one day be covered with further tattoos. Yeah, so he's covered everywhere and afraid of needles. And he got his eyeballs, and he has a little piercing right here. Oh no, that's not needles. That's just yeah, but
Still takes a needle to do a piercing.
oh, okay. Well, there you go. I don't
Usually a
know.
bigger needle too.
Mark, you got any tattoos?
No, but I mean, I passed out when I got the industrial done. It's just I have low blood sugar and I don't know, but that's not unusual. I
You
passed out
just
when I had my nipples pierced too, so that was it's like
expected?
okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Mark?
Just getting a little overboard, just a little bit. I
Not
thought
attractive.
carried away. Um,
I
he
love
looks like
tattoos, but that's not attractive.
yeah, he looks like the lizard man guy. Have you seen him?
That actually came to mind for me as well.
Uh, he said
Yeah,
the
I was.
AI thinks he's wearing a mask.
Oh, poor man can't see his pornos.
That's what it said.
Camera thinks he's wearing a mask.
Mm, mm, mm.
I don't
He
know.
kind of is.
He kind of
It's
is,
just a
yeah.
permanent one.
And in order to get around that, he would need to wear an actual mask, right? Can he hold the picture up, a photo? His old his old photo? I don't know.
Bro,
The camera probably they probably got facial recognition algorithms fine-tuned enough that they can watch the camera for subtle facial movements and be able to tell if it's just a photograph or not. Because I mean, at this point, those algorithm that sort of code is simple enough to produce that really would not be difficult for them. In the past, that may have gotten around it, but it's a sign of how far we've come that this man can't watch pornography anymore.
without facial recognition, they need to
I
know
don't know.
what you look like. That's why I was.
Yeah, it's um.
Can
I
you
don't know.
imagine
It
why?
seems, huh?
Why that? Can you imagine why that's necessary?
Why? What's necessary?
Facial recognition to watch porn.
Oh, I don't need to imagine why that's necessary. Well,
Age
yeah, I
verification.
automatically do
Mm,
imagine why. It's like, okay, yeah, good. There's something reasonable. Make it a little bit
gotcha.
more difficult for the kids.
So he said
Yeah.
he drew the line at his eyelids and his lips because of the pain, yet he injected ink into his eye.
Yeah. Maybe that's
Do
how
you
he
think he
knew.
tattooed below the belt too?
Yeah.
It said everywhere, so I just left it at that. Was that part of it everywhere?
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's specific enough to say except the eyes, I don't know.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
Um,
That's a little much.
Genital piercings are not at all uncommon, so I would guess that tattooing wouldn't be entirely impossible either. It was kind of within the same, I mean, it's the same shops usually do the,
But like one needle through something is a lot different than sitting there with a whole bunch of needles for hours.
yeah,
1,600 hours getting tattooed is a lot of time.
yeah.
um, I got another one here though. Says 12 co-defendants of man accused of conspiring to drug and rape his wife are named. Uh, People.
Wait, what was the title? I'm sorry.
It is 12 co-defendants of man accused of conspiring to drug and rape his wife are named.
12?
12.
I'm gonna say I remember this article, like when the news story first came out and they weren't identifying people.
Okay. Well, now this one says reporting restrictions on 12 on identifying 12 co-defendants of a man accused of conspiring to drug and rape his unconscious wife have been lifted. The men from across the UK have been aged 28 to 73, can now be publicly identified ahead of trial in Manchester later this year in order to protect the anonymity, as I think, yeah, anyway,
Anonymity?
anonymity uh, of his wife. The husband in his 60s cannot be named. From Stockport, Greater Manchester, he is admitted to some sexual offenses against his wife, but will also face a jury after being drugged, after he drugging her for sex between 2004 and 2025. Wow. He has also pleaded not guilty to conspiring with others to drug and rape his wife between 2018 and 2025. Meanwhile, the other 12 defendants included Keith Forthingham, 59, from Dundee, Scotland. He has admitted assault by penetration, conspiracy to rape, conspiracy to assault by penetration, and conspiracy to administer a substance with intent to stupefy or overpower. Wow. Okay. Um, Forthingham entered his plea in February and will be sentenced at a later date. Also on trial in September 1st for allegedly having sex and abused the victim and helped supply substances to render her unconscious are David Graves, 59 years old, of Lightston, Derbyshire, Daniel Rayner, 42 years old, from Whitstable, Kent, and Carl Lindsay, 55 years old, from Taunton, Somerset. Those are some interesting names. Anyhow, Lindsay is former chief executive of Taunton Town Football Club. He stepped down from the position in November 2025, with the club issuing a statement today to confirm no association with him. All deny conspiracy to rape, conspiracy to assault by penetration, and conspiracy to administer substance with intent. Graham, 73 years old, of Northwick, Cheshire, or I don't know how to say it, but hey, has pleaded not guilty to rape, conspiracy to rape, and conspiracy to assault by penetration. Philip Wild, 58 years old, of Stockport, Greater Manchester, has pleaded not guilty to attempted rape, assault, and penetration by sexual assault. conspiracy to rape, and conspiracy to assault by penetration. Why add all these people to? Never mind. Yeah, then they just name all the people and how old they are. Uh,
Good.
yeah, they named all the people is what the article says. He in the he denies 11 counts of rape, 2 counts of attempted rape, 7 counts of assaulted by penetration, 4 counts of sexual assault, 4 counts of conspiracy to rape, 3 counts of conspiracy to assault by penetration, 1 count of conspiracy to administer a substance with intent, and 1 count of administering a substance with intent. A further preliminary hearing will be held at a Manchester Minsel Street Crown Court on August 24th, a week ahead of the scheduled 12-week trial. August 24th is my birthday when the trial starts. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, that's messed up. Like brought all
That's
these
beyond
friends.
messed up.
That is disgusting. That is.
If I remember right, he would go on the internet and find these guys in like chat rooms and shit, and then arrange for people to come in, like drug her, and then arrange for people to come in and rape her.
Yeah,
And he was
yeah.
also raping her.
Like go and offer her.
Right.
What he gets out of that, out of some people, what do they get out of that? I don't know, but damn.
Yeah, I don't understand why anyone would want to have sex with someone who is unconscious.
That too.
I mean,
Um,
mm,
yeah.
yeah. It's
Disturbing.
it's interesting that all of the co-defendants are being named, but because of her anonymity, to protect her anonymity, the husband himself isn't. Wait, is he? Kevin
No, he's
Lindsay?
not named.
Oh, wait, yeah, he is. Never mind. Sorry,
Oh, I
Carl
thought he was taken.
Lindsay, 55-year-old. Wait, or is, no, never mind. Yeah, the husband isn't named, is he?
No.
I don't believe he is, because they're
Yeah,
trying to protect her identity. And if they name
yeah,
him, then people can figure it out.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. There's a, yeah, I was looking at the article here. There's a picture of a guy, his name is Carl Lindsay, 55-year-old father of five, pictured here on holiday with his wife and face blurred. But that's not the wife.
Victim.
I mean, I would argue she is also still a victim of this whole thing in a lesser degree, but he's destroying his own marriage too. I would I would assume she would not want to be married to a man like that if she knew what was happening beforehand.
Yeah, it's been since 2002, so that sucks as well. Yeah.
Mohammed Sabir, 28, the youngest defendant.
Um, there was an article you sent me. I sent it back to you because yeah, just got it ready for you.
Where did you? Oh, chat. Okay, yeah.
Check that one out.
This is intense.
Yeah, you sent it to me, so I figured it'd be something you liked, obviously.
I
Um,
mean, like is not the word I would use. but it's something that people should be aware of. I think
Okay.
it's not reported on. Um, and it's part of the reason why people uh, don't don't understand my objections to Sharia law as much as others. Okay, I should just stop and read it, right? Christian man imprisoned, hung in crucifixion position for converting to Christianity in Egypt. The trial of an Egyptian Christian man imprisoned on charges related to his conversion from Islam and his attempt to change his religious designation on identity papers opened last week in Cairo. Yeah. So, did you know that in Egypt you have your religion stamped on your official ID papers and cards and paper, everything and stuff? You got your name and documentation, stuff like driver's license and all that, whatever identity papers they issue. Um, you have to have your label there, Muslim, Christian, Jew. I don't know if they even have an option for atheism. I think probably not. Um, but yeah. Um, so part of Sharia law is that leaving Islam is um, punishable by death. Um, it
What
is,
about the thoughts of it?
huh?
What about not necessarily leaving, but this person even thought of it, or they had a plan to escape
I
punishment?
mean, it sounds like he tried to go and officially tell the government and register on his paperwork that, I am no longer a Muslim. I want to be registered as a Christian. Because they do have a population of Christian Egyptians. I mean, it's the original inhabitants of the region of Egypt, the Copts. I don't know if you've heard of that term, Coptic Christians. Um,
Never heard
they're,
it.
no. Well, okay, yeah. There, now you have. There
Oh,
you
yeah,
go.
now I have. I thought you were gonna go deeper.
Coptic Christians are the basically the original inhabitants, um, the original ethnic population tied to Egypt prior to the Islamic invasion and Arab conquests immediately after Muhammad's death. The explosion and unbelievably violent expansion to spread Islam initially was effectively a genocide if people would not convert, submit or die. Well, submit, pay tax, or die, right? So it's kind of operated at its formation a lot like an extortion racket, It's like, hey, this
What
is
it
a,
sounded like.
a nice church here. Wouldn't it be a shame if something happened to it, If it, gets lit on fire or something, so just pay us and we'll make sure it doesn't, blow up, get vandalized, that you don't get assaulted on your way in and out. Um, but that's the way it would be framed, but it's really, just flat out an extortion, um, intended basically to make life as a Christian or Jew so miserable that you eventually just give up and say, okay, I'll just convert to Islam. Even if I don't fully believe it, I'll just follow the motions just to make this stop. So just so that I don't have to pay anymore, I'll just pay lip service and whatever. But the native Christian population there, does not submit. They accept their second, perhaps even third class citizenship status if you were judging by Western standards. Um, what's called a dhimmi in Islam, the second class citizens, Christians and Jew, who are paying that tax. But another part, continuing on with that Sharia law is that they cannot build new churches. They cannot repair old churches. They cannot proselytize or talk about their religion at all. They cannot try to, you know, tell any non-Christian anything at all about Christianity. Um, at penalty of death, right? And still, this man converted to Christianity and wanted to go to the government and say, I no longer am a Muslim. I want to be recognized as a Christian. Um, Straight to prison with him. Um, so that's the context that I, would provide here. Um, anyway, Saeed Mansour Rezik Abdel Rezik. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, but there we go. He was arrested in July under terrorism-related charges. Apostasy is not illegal in Egypt, but changing the religious designation on official identity documents, practically impossible, leaves the converts open to prosecution as a national security threat, right? So, yeah, the nation doesn't outright ban it, doesn't say no penalty of death, but functionally, yeah, it is essentially, you know. Prosecutors brought multiple charges, according to advocacy group Coptic Solidarity, including establishing and leading a group in violation of the law, joining a group that was allegedly founded unlawfully, financing the group, promoting ideas and beliefs deemed, quote, harmful to national unity and social peace, and showing contempt for Islam. That's an actual crime. Showing contempt for Islam, illegal. Um, and challenging its fundamental principles. Oh yeah, challenging its fundamental principles, part of that also. Contempt and challenging its principles. Abdel Rezik's team on April 21st submitted several key motions, including requests to adjourn the proceedings in order to prepare a full defense, according to Coptic Solidarity. The court granted the adjournment and scheduled the next hearing for June 15. Abdul Rezik has been held in Cairo's 10th of Ramadan prison, where he has reportedly been deprived of basic necessities, including adequate food, clothing, and medical care, and hung in a crucifixion position. The hearing took place at Egypt's first criminal terrorism circuit in Badr, in the eastern area of Cairo. International human rights groups have long criticized the Badr courts for opaqueness, lack of due process, depriving defendants of basic legal protections, prolonged pretrial detention, and limited access to attorneys are common. The U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom has designated Abdul Rezik a religious prisoner of conscience, asserting that he was detained for his religious conversion and activity. On July 22nd, Egypt's Supreme State Security Prosecution charged him with quote, contempt for Islam, joining a banned terrorist organization, inciting unrest, and disseminating false information, according to USCIRF. Disseminating false information for changing his identity status registration on paper, like official paperwork. It's false that you want to be a Christian. False. Or is the Christianity false information that they're saying? That's like, well, yeah, the Christianity would be the false information that they're talking about there. It would be weird if they're charging him with like not realizing that he isn't actually a Christian. He just wants his paperwork to be, I don't know. Quote, during detention, authorities and inmates physically and psychologically abused Abdul Razik for his conversion. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The inmates would definitely have a field day. They wouldn't have any sympathy for him. They'd be in on it with the
EOs.
yeah.
Guards.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. The defendant was represented by a legal defense team, including the Egyptian Initiative for Personal Rights and the Egyptian Commission for Rights and Freedoms, as well as the Office of Cassation Lawyer Saeed Fayez. Cassation, I'm not familiar with that. It sounds like it must be an ethnicity of some sort.
Cessation.
An informal
That's-
instrumental opposition, composition of the Court of Cassation. I don't know. Okay. That's not important right now. Conversion and asylum. So, legal, social, and civil difficulties resulting from Abdul Razak's prior conversion to Christianity led him to flee to Russia in 2019, according to USCIRF. He sought asylum on religious grounds, but in 2023, Russian authorities arrested him for his connection to a privately filmed video that was purportedly offensive to Islam. His online posts about Islam reportedly had upset Muslims in Russia. In 2024, Russia deported him to Egypt, which rights advocates said violated the principle of non-refoulement, as he had held documentation from the UN High Commissioner for Refugees confirming that he qualified for international protection. The principle of non-refoulement is intended to protect refugees and asylum seekers from forced return to a country where they face a threat of persecution. Obviously, I mean, Egyptian authorities arrested him, holding him incommunicado for about 10 days. When communication resumed, Egyptian authorities interrogated him about his religious beliefs and pressured him to reconsider his faith, monitor other converts, and asked him to delete his social media accounts. Oh, monitor other converts. Hey, you'll be our spy in the Christian church. We'll just let you go, you know. Or reconsider his faith. Yeah, if he just stop this Christian shit, all this will be over. Authorities ultimately released him with instructions not to speak publicly or proselytize. Yeah. Don't talk about what's happening. Don't share why you believe what you believe and why you're voluntarily subjecting yourself to all of this. Don't tell. Don't talk about it. Don't tell people. In July 2025, Egyptian officials again detained Abdul Razik without a warrant and charged him after he resumed posting his religious beliefs online and asked an attorney to help him change the religion designation on his identification documents. Abdul Razik has reportedly said that during that time, He was coerced into undergoing the painful removal of a Christian tattoo and was suspended for hours in a crucifixion position. Abdul Razak is still awaiting a decision on an application he filed in May 2024 for a humanitarian visa to Australia. His fiancée is an Australian citizen, and he had, quote, his fiancée is an Australian citizen and has appealed for urgent intervention, criticizing what she described as Australia's lack of meaningful diplomatic engagement. A aid group Church in Chains stated. Yeah, well, how many years now? Well, I guess it's probably because he's not actually fully married to her, so it doesn't count. You're not going to risk angering Egyptians and by proxy the entire Islamic world by shaking things up there and poking that. Can't challenge that. Uh, the Cairo Institute for Human Rights Studies on January 26 wrote an urgent appeal letter on behalf of an international coalition of human rights organizations, religious freedom advocates, and independent experts. Quote, to respectfully urge the Australian government to take immediate humanitarian and diplomatic action on behalf of Mr. Saeed Mansour Rezik Abdel Rezik, an Egyptian national and Christian convert who has been arbitrarily detained in Cairo since July 15, 2025, for exercising his fundamental right to freedom of belief, Church in Chains reported. Well, that's the thing. Fundamental right is not an actual thing. That's kind of a Western invention. Western civilization came up with the idea of fundamental rights in the Enlightenment era. Um, freedom of belief. I mean, yeah, that's not a thing over in Egypt. Um, anyway, the letter states that Abdul Razak's imprisonment reflects a persistent and alarming pattern of religious persecution in Egypt, particularly against individuals who convert from Islam. Mr. Abdul Razak converted to Christianity in 2016 after years of personal reflection. Since that time, he has endured severe and sustained persecution by Egyptian authorities, facing repeated arbitrary arrests, torture and ill treatment, forced divorce, separation from his young son, and continuous surveillance, the letter states, according to Church in Chains. His experience starkly contradicts Article 64 of Egyptian's constitution, which states that, quote, freedom of belief is absolute, yet in practice denies that right to those who leave Islam. The letter urges the Australian government to grant Abdul Razak humanitarian or protection status, enabling his safe relocation and reunification with his fiancée in Australia. Press Egyptian authorities through bilateral diplomatic channels to immediately and unconditionally release him and raise his case at relevant international forums, including the United Nations, emphasizing Egypt's obligations under international human rights law. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Egypt ranked 42nd on Open Doors 2026 World Watch List of 50 countries where it is most difficult to be a Christian. Yeah, it's something we take for granted in the United States that Christianity is not the majority viewpoint it is here. And
Luckily, it's not a crime. That's what I thought was messed up.
Yeah.
All he wanted to do was change, and yeah. What was crazier was to not say the word crazy for lack of a better word,
Mm.
uh allowing him to be a spy. It's like you said, you can just stay a Christian if you want to, but you got to go spy on the Christians.
Yeah.
That part
And
is this how their
what the
is
hell's
this
up
how
with
their
Russia?
government thinks? I didn't there was a lot that I read. I mean a lot that I heard, a lot that I didn't probably. I did hear the word. I didn't hear Russia. Are you talking about that in this article?
Oh yeah, Russia. He got refugee status in Russia, but then um
Oh yeah, okay, okay, I remember that.
yeah, sought asylum on religious grounds. 2023 Russians arrested him for connection to privately filmed video purportedly offensive to Islam. His online post about Islam reportedly had upset Muslims in Russia. Can't upset Muslims.
Yeah,
Can't. Can't upset them.
I'll make sure I don't. Uh,
I'm gonna be toast.
um, you've said a
Uh,
lot about him.
that's why
Yeah,
we need to ban Sharia law in the United States. It is fundamentally incompatible with the concepts and founding principles of the United States Constitution. And good
please
on Texas for having done that, I think.
help me understand what Sharia law is. You probably did already sometime.
Well, all of what's happening here is all perfectly in line with Sharia law. The um, Islamic laws, as laid out by Muhammad and his successors, the laid out in the Hadiths, which are the passed down passages and sayings of Muhammad. Like years later, there's a whole oral tradition, a chain of transmission. This person told this person who told this person who told this person who told this person who told this person, and that's how we know it's reliable.
Sounds like a
Uh,
game of telephone to me.
right, but they have a whole range, a whole system they call Hadith sciences, which they use to determine which ones are the most reliable, which ones are the least reliable, right? So it's easy for them to pick and choose which ones they consider um, canonical or not, basically, right? Some that they find more embarrassing, they're like, no, 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 that one's not reliable. But others that there are um, uh, Sahih Muslim has a large portion of the hadith. Um, Abu Bakr is one of the more authoritative. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of these, um, which is part of why some of these are some of these they try to hide from non-Muslims in order to keep Islam from appearing um, distasteful to Western eyes and ears. Like there's one of the hadiths is narrated by Aisha herself, Muhammad's child bride. She says herself that she was married to Muhammad at age 6 and
Yeah.
Their wedding was consummated at age 9.
That's
And
disgusting.
that's that's the prophet of Islam. That is who they hold as the highest, most perfect example of how to live your life as a Muslim. He is the role model for Islam.
I can
So
see why
that's
That's
they
the
don't
type
like
of
horrifying.
what you
stuff
said.
that would, probably have been said in the sort of videos that reportedly had upset Muslims in Russia. A former Muslim talking about his faith and what he found objectionable about it, perhaps. I don't know what it was, right? But something as simple as that, just his feelings, his thoughts on something foundational to the narrative or the laws, the legal system, the implementation, um, anything, you know, could reportedly upset Muslims. It's hard to say, but um, why would they have that much control over policy in Russia that they can have a single individual deported? Why is Russia bending over? That's something that confuses me. Like Russia's kind of historically been a very um staunchly Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox Christian nation, right? I mean, when you think of Moscow, you think of St. Basil's Cathedral and all those colorful dome, onion-shaped domey things and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, so even though it had been uh, very, very intentionally um, secularized with the USSR, Soviet Union, strongly pushing atheism. It still remained. Um, um, but um, I don't know. This is why I say, we need to oppose Sharia law in the United States. We don't want to live under it. We shouldn't. Whether people believe it or not, they don't want to live under it. They don't realize, they don't know, but they don't want to live under it unless they're a Muslim. And even then, a lot of Muslims um, don't want to live under those sort of systems. Um, that sort of legal system. There's a lot of Muslims here in the United States who would say, no, I oppose those sorts of, but that's, um, I don't know. I don't know. It,
I see why you said you're toast.
yeah, it doesn't take
Yeah.
all Muslims, but it is perfectly in line with you know, the Quran. And people would prefer to call it, fundamentalist, Islamic
Press that thumbs
fundamentalist.
up button.
If Mark, press that thumbs up button if you think Mark is toast.
Yeah.
Oh,
Any
yeah, but
Muslims from Russia? Yeah, you're toast.
yeah. But Oh man, I forgot where I was going. I had
I'm sorry about that.
no, no, it's fine. I'm trying to I don't know. It's gone. Whatever. That's fine.
All right.
Um, yeah, it's
Just about Sharia law.
this is why, yeah, this is this sort of stuff. Oh wait, yeah. It doesn't have to be all Muslims in order to be um well, it doesn't have to be an issue of among all Muslims in order to be an issue with Muslims. It's not, or wait, okay, no, better way. It's not Muslims that are the problem, it's Islam and the fact that it can so easily be turned into something that, you know, fundamentally oppresses and harms people. Whether it is used to do that or not is um, not as important as the fact that you know, this is kind of exactly what the Quran says to do to Christians. Literally, there are verses that say, you know, um, fight the Christians and Jews wherever you find them, oppress
Yeah.
them. There's
Just for
another
not being
verse says,
just for
when
not being Muslim.
yeah,
Just
just because you're Christian. Yeah, Christians and Jews specifically in particular. But at the time, there was basically Christianity was the majority religion at the time of the breakout, the Islamic conquest, breakout from Arabia. So you had the Byzantine, or what we call the Byzantines, the Eastern Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire. Both were Christian. One we now call the Catholic Church, the other we now call the Orthodox Church. Neither one called themselves that or saw themselves that way at that time. They were both the Christian church. You know, um, basically, the Bishop of Rome said, I am the first, first among equals, of all the bishops, I'm the in charge. And the rest of the bishops said, nah. And so Rome broke away from the rest of the apostolic churches, but um, the biggest bulk of the Christian faith, the most highly developed, the most civilized, or civilized as we would now probably consider most of it, was the Byzantine Empire and the from, kind of Constantinople, where we now call Turkey, all the way down the Middle East, um, kind of not including the Arabian Peninsula because most of that's just desert and nobody really wanted that. And then, kind of around in Egypt was, I mean, the big thing, Alexandria was the library at Alexandria at the time was like a big deal, right? One of the wonders of the world. And it's considered a great tragedy of the Western civilization that it had been burned and lost. Guess how it got burned? Um, uh, we um, yeah. So when uh, when the Arabs um, stopped fighting each other, got kind of all conquered under one warlord, Prophet. Sorry, Prophet. Um, they Muhammad had said, Jerusalem. I mean, there were points in instances in along the way in Muhammad's life that it kind of pissed him off about Christians. He thought that he could, well, I don't know what I probably shouldn't say what he thought. I shouldn't ascribe any sort of motives like or anything like that. But he he had claimed divine revelation and claimed that it was coming from the God of the Christians and the Jews, basically. And so he went to, um, well, first he was in his own Arab tribe that was, monotheism was not the norm. So that was kind of a weird thing for him to do. He was originally part of the Qureshi, well, originally he was part of the Qureshi tribe. They were originally pagan, polytheist, kind of basically bring your own god to Mecca. They had the um, um, Kaaba, that square structure in Mecca um, that Muslims are supposed to pilgrim to or take pilgrimage to, the Hajj, once in their lifetime. That was a foundational part of the Arabian um, polytheist paganism at the time. Um, but Muhammad just said, no, that's part of our stuff now. That's what my God says that you know. Um, but he, oh, and the circling it 7 times, that's also a pagan ritual, pre-Islamic pagan ritual that was carried over, just kind of folded into Islam because it was convenient. Um, and kissing the black stone at the corner of the Kaaba, also pre-Islamic, pagan. Um, they the Qureshi pagans at the time were like, "This is you're nuts. Get out of here." Um, and kicked him out of Mecca. So he went and found refuge in a city called Medina. It was run by a group of a few Jewish tribes, Jewish Arab groups, tribes. And so they're like, yeah, okay, we'll take you in. We'll let you, you know, have refugee status here in our city. And so, yeah, kind of fast forwarding it a bit. Um, 10 years later, there was a problem, a little kerfuffle with one of those Jewish tribes. And wouldn't you know it, they kind of disappeared from Medina. And then fast forward another decade or so, and strangely enough, there were no more Jews left in Medina. Um, it was all Muhammad and his followers, um, and it was not by choice necessarily. Um, and that's when he broke out and went out to try to conquer Mecca again after he had subdued all of the. Oh, he went out from Medina. He went from a religious leader, basically kind of what they would look at as sort of a cult. Um, the Jews in the city of Medina were like, "You're not. What you're preaching is not in line with the Torah," um, and that pissed Muhammad off. Um, And yeah, part of why he didn't like the Jews. He went and tried to bring in Christians. The Christians in the area looked at, that he preached to, looked and were like, that's not what you're preaching is not in line with the gospel. That's not what our God believes. What you're saying is fundamentally not our faith. And so that's when he's like, okay, well, the Christians also are lying about what God has revealed to them, because otherwise they would recognize and accept me as the next in their prophets, or the next one of their prophets, the final prophet, as he would eventually claim. Um, so he went from a religious leader, kind of a cult leader, and then started to get political power in Medina, and that's how he started to gain a bigger following. Um, that's where you start to see the verses in the Quran that change from um, to you be your religion, to me be mine. Kind of don't push your faith on each other. Like you're not gonna be violent, right? When we don't have any ability, when we're outnumbered, um, when we're in the minority, we don't rock the boat. And then when he
Wanna
started to actually gain political power, that's when he's like, okay, well, we can wage war. That's where the first jihad appears, the first references, but it was defensive only jihad. We can fight back, but only if they attack first. And once he gets to be the sole political power in Medina, um, at the final phase of his life, that's when the jihad becomes overt and violent. And those are the final, like the last verses that were given. So there's a concept in Islam called abrogation, where they say that when one verse contradicts another verse, it's the latter verse overrides the earlier one, right? So when when you take that, the concept of abrogation, and you look at the story of Muhammad's life, right? It goes from like entirely pacifist, peaceful, to defensive violence only, to overt violence to spread the faith. That means that the final instructions given to the Muslims by Muhammad were overtly violent instructions to go and conquer and like spread the faith by the sword, as and kill. That's when you find all of the verses about, kill the Christians and Jews wherever you find them. That's where all of the the hadiths, um, talking about and codifying the concepts of jihad, that's where all of them are most explicitly laid out, were coming from the end of Muhammad's life. So when they say abrogation rendered that violent verse, um, like moot or whatever, that's no case. No, all of the violent verses came at the end. So um, like hanging remaining instructions is, the violent overt jihad. Um, Oppress the Christians and Jews wherever you find them. So yeah, even if all of the laws that they have on the books say that there's no persecution, all of the religious texts for Islam, which is the bigger, which one is the bigger authority in a Muslim's life? Is it God or the state? Like, so oppressing Jews is more important, oppressing Christians and Jews. So um, that's Sharia law, and where it comes from is the hadiths and and Muhammad's life, the story of his life. So yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna watch this and they're gonna come for you. um, I
I
hope they
trust
don't.
God will protect me.
There you go.
My God is greater than their God.
Um, anyhow, the death toll is up to 1,300 in France. Uh, yeah,
France?
yeah. Eastern
The heat
Europe.
wave.
Yeah,
Oh,
and the funeral homes are overwhelmed. It says.
wow.
So yeah, I was talking to Andrea about this yesterday, and she was saying it's about like they don't have ACs like we do out over there. And then they never really experienced 104-degree weather, so they weren't even ready for that.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I mean, I really can't imagine, honestly. I don't know what the humidity is like over there or what that heat index reaches when, I mean, if the temperature itself is 104, what does it like feel like? Feels like what, 110 something, 100 teens?
Well, and you go in a house with no, good airflow, with no air conditioning, and it's just sweltering,
Yeah. Sun just
especially if you can't.
banging down on the roof. Like,
Yeah,
what do you do? Going
I,
inside out of the sun is worse than being outside,
I
or being
remember
in the sun is worse than.
my air conditioner went out in August one time, and it was miserable till they came and got it fixed.
I think I remember that. Uh,
Oh, I mean, what are the temperature range normally like there that they're so unprepared for this? Like, how
That
much
I don't
higher?
know.
Yeah, how much higher than normal is this for the French? You know, that
I don't
1,300
know.
people have died. That's tragic. That's and unavoidable. And avoidable. There we go. If they were better equipped with air conditioning,
Summer temperatures average between 61 to 75 degrees.
wow. Well, that's a difference.
However, right, temperatures may vary significantly by region,
Yeah.
says
Yeah.
general
I was just
70s
thinking
to
that.
low 80s.
I was just thinking that that's good weather. Yeah, any time of year.
Yeah, but if
Um,
that's like the overall average of the whole thing, then there could be like much higher than normal, much lower than that, and it kind of all evens out to a nice like middle ground. Like I wonder if you take the entire United States and then average it out to a single number, like what would the average summertime temperature be like?
around
Man.
here is
Well,
mid to
that's
high
the thing.
90s.
Around there would average out with like the peak of the
Alaska.
Rockies and Alaska. Yeah, man, Alaska's huge. I mean, who cares if nobody lives there? If we calculate this by surface area as opposed to by population, like we can fiddle with these numbers massively and make it seem like it's way more bearable for most Americans than it actually is. It's not like Hawaii, where every island is entirely surrounded by the Pacific Ocean and can't really change much compared to any of the other surrounding islands, right?
Um, Hawaii, is it hot there? It's a bunch of volcanoes there, so I would assume it's hot.
I mean, it's definitely warm, but I don't think it's as hot as like where you live or where I live in the summer.
Oh, okay.
They got all
Yeah.
that air coming off the water, cools everything down, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no water near here. You would
Sea
think that was
breeze.
California. No sea breeze near here. Too far
No,
from
but
the
they got it
water.
in Hawaii.
Yeah. However, yeah, that's a good assumption, and I can agree with that. Uh, Never been, but that is somewhere I would like to visit when they have
I
good
have no
weather.
interest in flying over the ocean personally.
You afraid of water?
No, I'm not afraid of water, but I don't want to fly over water. I don't really
Why?
want to fly, period.
Oh,
Especially with the state of the airlines these days. Every time you turn around, somebody's crashing a plane or running one plane into another plane on a runway.
Yeah.
I'll just stay home.
I think
I
that's
like my
just
house.
kind of uh, I'm forgetting the name of it, like the observation bias or whatever that um, people are looking at plane crashes more, and so they're reporting on them more, and so they're hearing about them more. So people are looking at plane crashes more, so they're reporting them more, and on and on and on and on and stuff. I think there's always been a lot of incidents around air travel. It's just happening so much nowadays that, eyelash in my eye. Yeah,
It always feels great.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I can
I've
imagine that
only,
sucks.
I haven't really ever flown too much.
No,
No?
So, no, I flew to Seattle when I was 14 with my mom to visit my aunt and cousins, and I flew home from Dallas Fort Worth. And then I've been on small airplanes a couple of times, but I've been pretty much
Okay.
grounded. I like the little
Uh,
airplane better than the big one.
I've probably been on less planes, but went to places for long stints of time. Uh, yeah, I've been to a few places. Places in America though, like Detroit and Miami, Atlanta, bunch of different places, random places I don't even know all the names to. But I had another article here. I was waiting until Mark got back. Uh, all right, Mark, you're back. I got an article here that
yeah,
says,
just fiddling with temperatures and,
"Oh,
as I am wont to do.
how's the weather there?"
It's 88 degrees, partly sunny, according to the little thing in the corner of my computer screen. I cannot be bothered to get up and go check.
All right.
I'm good here.
I got an article here. Says parents charged with murder fed obese son at 7, steady
Oh,
diet of snack foods as he gained 151 pounds in 21 months. A married couple charged with the murder of their obese 7-year-old son let the boy consume a steady diet of snack foods as he gained 151 pounds in less than 2 years before dying. Clearly, the parents were feeding the child improperly, to say the least. Uh, Genesee County prosecutor David Leeton said on Monday. He wasn't getting the nutrition he needed, Leeton said of the Casper O'Brien, who weighed 255 pounds when he died inside of the family Michigan's home last November. Oh, that's so sad.
How much did he weigh when he died?
255 pounds, I believe.
The average weight for a 7-year-old boy is approximately 51 pounds.
Yeah, he was 255.
Wow.
Casper was eating a steady diet of snack foods up until his death, the prosecutor said. The poor diet of the youngster wasn't his only health concern. Authorities believe Casper was nonverbal, bedridden, and plagued by bed sores and various rashes, according to Layton. A very, very sad, tragic situation, Layton said. I've been prosecuting I've been the prosecuting attorney for 22 years, and I thought I'd seen it all, but I've never seen anything quite like this. The child died from, end quote, dilated cardiomyopathy.
Cardiomyopathy.
Cardiomyopathy. That's, yeah, never said that one before. A medical condition that hampers the heart ability to pump blood on November 4th, 2025, according to the Genesee County Medical Examiner report. Yeah. His weight played a contributing factor to his death, the report stated. The shocking allegations are the latest in what authorities claim is a pattern of serial neglect by parents Damian O'Brien and Jessica O'Brien. Authorities also allege that the O'Brien family home was filled with trash and that Casper wasn't enrolled in school according to the autopsy, citing law enforcement as a child protective services. It was also stated that the family neglected to get Casper health care, even though the family had health insurance, according to the criminal complaint. He was taken to the doctor on February 2024, weighing only 104 pounds, according to the autopsy report. Wow. The
Only
two
twice
parents,
the average weight of a child his age.
right.
Yeah,
The two
only.
parents, the two parents were recently charged by the prosecutor of Genesee County, Michigan, about an hour from Detroit for second-degree murder, torture, and second-degree child abuse. An attorney for Damian O'Brien said that his client, innocent, end quote, innocent until proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt in the court of law. That is all.
Bedridden,
Yeah,
bed sores, inappropriate diet, and died of a heart attack at the age of 7. That is horrifying child abuse.
yeah. You guys
On a
gotta see.
nonverbal child.
Right.
Yeah, look at the picture.
I don't know if I want to.
Um,
I
you don't
mean,
have to.
I'll do it because now I can't not. I'm on the hook. Oh my gosh. That's
Not
not the
laughing at the
final
article.
size, is it? That that doesn't.
Um,
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
he's 7.
No, but the
That's
photo
his
that
final
comes up,
size.
that doesn't look like I was. I don't know. I was picturing more than that, but I don't know.
Well, he was probably more. That's a picture of
The
him.
parents are not exactly slender either, so maybe they thought that was kind of what their genes dictated. Oh, he's meant to
255. He
be.
probably weighed as much as his mom, and that's a lot.
His
That's
mom
over
doesn't.
100 pounds more than I weigh.
Yeah, I'm around 70 more than me. So That is a lot of weight, and they are being charged with murder feeding. I didn't know that was a thing, but yeah, you gotta feed your kids correctly. And he wasn't in school, and he couldn't. He was nonverbal. That part's, I don't know. People are weird. Yeah, I would send the kid to high school. I mean, school or whatever the case, because probably wouldn't have went through as much. They have good diets at school, but
When I
yeah,
search murder feeding, this is the only case that comes up. I don't think that's normally a real, like a normal thing. I think that they may be just using that term because his diet was the means by which he was murdered. Basically, like depraved heart murder. It's not like you set out to kill a person, but you created a set of circumstances wherein you knew that there was a high likelihood that death would occur, given what you were doing that could have been easily avoided, or what you were actively doing, providing snack foods to a child, right? Let me say
it's the
this.
kid's diet. It's what they're saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
putting
depraved
him to
heart
school.
murder is a type of homicide where the defendant unintentionally causes a death by acting with extreme recklessness and a conscious disregard for human life. Also known as extreme indifference murder, it does not require an intent to kill, but rather a profound wanton indifference to the value of human life. That sounds like what, right? I mean, murder, right? It doesn't matter what they put in front of it, whatever adjectives, but to convict a defendant of depraved heart murder, prosecutors must generally prove the following elements: reckless action. Create the defendant's actions create a very high unreasonable risk of death or serious bodily injury. Yeah. Extreme indifference. They're consciously disregarded that risk, showing their total contempt for human life and the safety of others, and malice of forethought. Even without specific intent to kill, the extreme recklessness supplies the legal malice required to elevate the charge to murder rather than manslaughter. Yeah, so that's probably what's going on. That's probably what they mean by feeding murder or whatever.
Yeah,
It's not manslaughter because it was the yeah, the extreme recklessness supplies the legal malice. That's what it has in quotes, malice. So it's not actively malicious against their child, but yeah, no reasonable person would not recognize that you are feeding to death. And bed sores on a bedbound child who cannot speak. Oh, oh, here classic examples of depraved heart murder. Firing a firearm into a crowded room, train, or busy public street, driving extremely recklessly, such as speeding on a crowded sidewalk to bypass traffic, or playing a game of Russian roulette. That's, oh, how many games of Russian roulette? I mean, I know it happens. It just how
I got another article here. It says forensic scientists in O.J. Simpson case, John Benet Ramsey and Phil Spector gave startling deathbed confession. It
what?
thought, you want me to read it again?
Yeah, no,
Or
I heard it. I just like, what? This is interesting. Those are big cases and startling confession.
deathbed confession at that.
Deathbed confession, even more dramatic.
He waited until it's too late. By the time they finish the case for that, he'd already be dead. That's what he's saying. Um, the top forensic scientist who testifies in O.J. Simpson, Janae, John Benet Ramsey, and Phil Spector's cases made a shocking deathbed confession in a bid to clear his name. Dr. Henry C. was one of the most famous physicians in America in the 90s. Although in recent years he faced allegations of fabricating evidence and testing. Lee, who died on Friday at age 87, was renowned for work involving blood splatter analysis and crime scene reconstruction, and provided key evidence in numerous trials through the 80s. That's interesting. Um, oh, Connecticut-based Lee rose to wider prominence during the 1994 trial of Simpson, where, taking a stand for the defense, he claimed he had found previously undiscovered bloody footprints at the crime scene, and Simpson was being framed for the double murder of his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman, on her doorstep. An FBI analyst contended they were imprints of boots and tools from the workmen who originally poured the concrete. Simpson was later sensationally acquitted. Lee was called to the scene after the murder of Ramsey in in Boulder, Colorado. On Christmas Day, 1996, he was one of the first to claim the ransom note found at the property was staged. Various investigators and analysts have agreed with the assertion, but the case was never been solved. The case has never been solved. He got famous for getting results that no one else could. Brent Tarvey, a forensic scientist and criminologist who studied under Lee, told the Post. So these are people, prominent people. The problem is the pressure of celebrity, of doing a great job, and living up to the myth of the forensics of Henry Lee. In one bizarre incident, while wig loving, in quote, wall of sound producer Spector was on trial for over the death of Lana Clarkson in his home in 2003. Lee was accused of taking a fingernail from the crime scene and charged he denied. Oh, a charge he denied. Spector was eventually convicted of second-degree murder. More recently, a review of evidence against two Connecticut men, Sean Henning and Ricky Birch, found they had been wrongfully convicted in 1989 for the 1985 murder of another man. Much of that conviction rested on Lee's forensic testimony regarding a towel with the red smear, which he said tested positive for blood. Further testing proved that was no blood on the towel, and the towel itself had never previously been tested. Ooh. However, an investigative team claimed that they uncovered at least 6 instances of Lee contributing to the innocent people losing their freedom. The Post has also learned that Lee gave one final interview to the documentary company behind the revelation, where Lee made a blockbuster confession about the evidence he gave. The candid interview took place shortly after the death, where Lee, according to the insider, attempted to put out his side of the story and justify his actions, saying I didn't do it. At one point, sources say he claimed, in quote, logic at the bottom line for the law enforcement, but I only did one thing in my life. It's to make to make the impossible be possible. Harvey also remembers one quote the man once called, in quote, America's most celebrated forensic scientist gave during the commencement speech at University of Haven, which is also a new point. I don't know. I think that's what that word means. Um, he said, just remember, it takes 25 years to build a good name and 25 seconds to destroy it. He was always speaking out against fraud, always speaking out against negligence and incompetence, claimed Tarvey. But as we know, that was a confession of guilt to what he did in practice. That is all. That's very interesting because, well, not very interesting because, but like they said, there's no one to prove it because they're dead with OJ at least. Um, yeah, and he's dead now. He can't fight it either. So I thought that was interesting to know because I didn't know much about the OJ story because I was young. But yeah, everything was kind of hearsay until I seen the movie also.
Yeah. I'm still unclear on what happened there. I'm like, what did he
Um,
famous for getting results that no one else could? I'm just distracted by Phil Spector's perm.
oh, you seen the afro? Yeah.
Wider than his shoulders. Damn. Maybe it's just a really little dude.
I
I
didn't
mean,
have I didn't have
a
time to
little bit
check
of
it
A,
out.
a little bit of B, right? Small frame and big hair. Oh, but I mean, more seriously, I'm kind of a wig loving wall of sound producer. Is that a wig? Who would get a wig like that made?
It
What the
looks like
hell?
his real hair.
That's
I
what I'm
could.
thinking. That doesn't look like a wig.
I think they're probably making fun of him.
I don't know. If my hair looked like that, I would love wigs. Yeah.
You couldn't do the afro?
I could not do that. I could not pull that off. No. Are you kidding? No, definitely not.
Oh man, I wish I could show you guys that picture, but press thumbs up, everybody out there.
I
Uh,
mean,
I'll figure out a
yeah.
way to post the afro.
Anybody out there? Yeah. It's the New York Post article, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you do a search, Dr. Henry Lee deathbed confession, it's like the top result right there. Forensic scientist in O.J. Simpson, Jean-Benet Ramsey. Dot dot dot. Yeah. And you can just scroll down and see.
So OJ did it. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying. Like, is he saying he fabricated evidence, but none of it was consequential to tip the thing? Or did he just fabricate it
I think
entirely?
he said that somebody
Let's
was
see.
trying to frame OJ He said that at his case, he said,
He said he found a footprint that nobody else had seen, and he said that that was somebody who was trying to frame OJ.
yeah, there we go.
Okay. So were
Oh,
those footprints there or not? He
um,
fabricated them, made them up?
yes, that's what
Okay.
it's saying. And
That's, yeah. So, but OJ Simpson, so by that point, he would have already been famous-ish, right? He would have been a,
he had already was famous playing the
yeah.
NFL.
So is that what he's talking about when build the reputation and all this pressure to maintain that image of keeping this all consistent and and so he started making up stories and then fabricating evidence to match up with those stories that he could then tell and become the big hero in a case that suddenly decides a tipping point or something, or I don't know. That's what like I'm
I think he's just trying to get as clear as conscious before he left. He's gone now, though.
clear as conscience, I guess so, because it's definitely not his name he's clearing here. So, I mean, I don't know, but he said,
He was saying what he did do. He was coming out and telling the truth.
oh, the
I sent you the
pressure
article, right?
to him, yeah, Pennsylvania played a role in improving.
Um, I got another article here though, and I found it interesting because the place that they're talking about is near me. It's actually the town over. Um, but it said California uh, named the latest educated U.S. cities. Wow, 6 Golden State metros at the bottom of the list. And it says California known for its picturesque scenery, sandy beaches, and ideal temperatures. But the new study also suggests that Golden State takes the crown for having the least educated city in the whole country. Wow. Visalia, California, known famously as the primary, end quote, gateway to the Sequoias, the least educated city in the U.S. according to the report by Wallet Hub. 5 other cities, Bakerfield, Modesto, Salinas, Fresno, and Stockton, also sit on the list of the 10 least educated cities. 6 are located in the Golden State. Wow. The report ranked Visalia at number 150, the lowest overall rank, followed by Bakersfield's 147, Modesto at number 146, Salinas at 145, and Fresno at 144, and Stockton at number 143. The analysts appeared at 150 of the most populated cities in the U.S. across various metrics, including the number of adults aged 25 and older with at least a bachelor's degree, quality of public school system, and the size of the gender education gap. Bakersfield and Visalia are among the bottom of 5 cities with the lowest percentage of residents with high school diplomas and adults with college experience. The 2 cities have the least percentage of people who hold a bachelor's degree. Mm. In contrast, the San Jose metro area ranked as the third most educated in the country. Mm. San Jose boasts a population of where over 50% of its residents aged 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree. Additionally, the region maintains its third place rank for the quality of its universities among metropolitan areas. Michigan, Ann Arbor metro area ranked as the most educated in the country. Overall, 96% of adults above 25 of age have at least a high school diploma, nearly 59% of bachelor degree, and nearly 32% having an advanced degree, all of which are among the highest rates in the country. That's all. But we got some of the worst schools, is what it's saying. Uneducated places. I always find news about Mark's about Florida, but I had to grab something about California. So
Hey,
it
I
doesn't
mean
look like I'm aiming at you.
it's
Feels good, huh?
it's interesting. There's so many contrasts in California, right? So many high, high tier universities and the leading tech companies of the world. And then they just go and they list all of these cities in this. Um, it's I don't know. It's yeah. Did they say
Come
worse
here. They
school
make
systems or
um uh
I don't know how they.
worst least educated cities in the US. So yeah, the city next to me is the fifth. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's a rural area, you don't need, a college diploma if you're smart, you know,
Yeah.
just go
Yeah.
straight to work and start. I mean, a lot of that you need to you need to learn through apprenticeships or being raised on a farm like that. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I would caution people against um, equating uneducated with um, I don't know. I don't want to say dumb, but dumb for lack of a better word, right? Not
Right.
I don't know.
Lower
Poor school
intelligence.
system. Yeah, poor school systems is something that can be defined and measured, and but um I don't know. It's the education system just
Well, and
first
just
hits
because you
hard.
don't have a degree doesn't mean that you aren't educated in things. You can learn a lot of
Yeah,
things without getting a degree.
yeah,
Agreed.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, being educated and being informed are two very different things, and they are very often completely divorced from each other. So, yeah, it's like street smarts versus book smarts, right? The endless age-old um, conflict, trade-off,
I
oppose
got something more
opposition.
interesting than that.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
I got something that says a Survivor player admitted she used tampons to smuggle in items and it didn't go well. When you buy through links in our articles, future and syndicate partners may earn the commission. Oh, I'm sorry, that's something else. Survivor has very clear rules about what castaways are allowed and not allowed to bring with them on the island, but that doesn't mean players don't still smuggle in contraband. The most common way to try and get stuff in is by sewing prohibited items into the lining of the clothing, but apparently at least one contestant used tampons to successfully break the rules. Survivor legend Francesca Hogi, the only castaway in history of the show to be voted out, first two different occasions, revealed this week that her scheme to sneak in floss and allergy pills was big success. Both of those items are prohibited, but in a sneaky move, she hid them inside of tampons and then resealed the wrapper. It worked like a charm, except that for months after she got voted out, she kept opening tampons and discovering they were they were the ones she had previously doctored. She had what she said about the plot in social posts on threads. My second season of survival, I smuggled unspooled floss and allergy pills inside tampons. I did such a good job of resealing the tampon wrappers, I couldn't tell them apart for months afterwards. Every now and then, I'd go put a tampon and an allergy pill and floss would fall out. Mm. Francesca is a good example of how you can carve out a well remembered legacy on survival without winning the game or even making a deep run. The attorney appeared on both Redemption Island and Caramone, but she was voted out at the first available opportunity both times. Each torch snuffling was related to an ongoing multi-season feud with the specialist Philip Shepard. Their wild interactions are still frequently referenced by hardcore fans to this day. Obviously, I'm not saying Francesca is remembered on that top tier level with the most famous winners like Boston Rob, Sandra, Tony, and Parvati. She not even on the most next level of beloved losers who made the deep dive into the multiple seasons like Siri, Kobe, Coach, Ozzy, Amanda Kimmel, and Russell Hantz. She is, however, part of the elite group of the pre-merge characters who made a lasting impression, like Tia, Billy Garcia, Chowboy, Wendy, and more recently, Banu and Sai. Francesca's amusing posts ran around the survivor community pretty quickly, and downside was misinterpreted by some, more specifically the part about the floss and pills falling out. She hilariously circled back to clarify where exactly they fell out from. End quote. I feel I should clarify. They'd fall out of the tampon applicator where they were stashed, not in my vagina. I'm not sure we'll see Francesca again on Survivor, but that has nothing to do with her breaking the rules. As contestants break the rules all the time, she was allegedly one of the hundreds so former players who got a phone call ahead of the 50. She reportedly said she wasn't interested in returning to the island. She doubted she would have been cast on such a monumental season, but that doesn't mean she wouldn't have a good shot with the right theme. We know we're getting another returnee a season sooner rather than later. If the theme is players who didn't make the merge, she's an absolute must cast. Fingers crossed, and that happens. Though if she does, she'll probably need to find a new way to sneak in her allergy pills. Um, yeah. So she didn't put it inside her, like the title makes you assume. My eyes just started to water. I am not crying. If people are out there think I'm crying, oh,
Yeah. I try to
You
keep
lost your
breathing
ear pod.
down, but
Were you making those names up? Oh, like,
no.
who were those people? I don't know.
Yeah.
You could have
If you
snuck
know, it's just a
in
random drop.
random
Uh,
words in
I don't
there,
know if
and
you
I
guys were
would not
paying
have
attention.
catched any of it.
But if you are watching, press the thumbs up button.
You
One of
lost
my
your ear
beard
pod when you wiped your
down my
face.
face. Wait, say that again.
Your ear pod fell out when you were wiping your face, and we couldn't hear you very well.
Okay. Yeah. A tear dripped down my face. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it went all the way through my beard. Um, yeah. I was talking, and yeah, it wasn't me crying at what was wrote right there. It was just the article, and then I don't know, probably the heat in here. You never know.
Allergies. It's allergies.
I don't want to lie to him. It wasn't allergies, but I wasn't crying over what she's going through. Uh,
Definitely creative.
yeah. Um,
I hope
imagine what
wherever
people.
she was when she would discover those like tampons that she had a backup with her. You know, that
She wasn't
Depends
there
on where
long
she
enough.
stashed it in the applicator.
right. Yeah.
She was never there long enough to find it. She was always the first person to go.
No, but she had them afterwards, wherever, like, so wherever she
Yeah.
went, I hope if she was out in public and had one of those with her and discovered it after opening, I hope she had another one with her. That, yeah,
She'll have allergy pills at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
Clear sinuses.
Yeah. Did you guys know that? Well, actually, are you allowed to walk up there by the volcanoes?
Up to a
Uh,
point, they kind of have a spot where they say stop. You could
Oh,
probably like go past it, but I wouldn't.
well, someone did.
Do not recommend.
I don't
Which
recommend either.
volcano? Wait, which volcano?
I got to read the article. You never
Well,
know.
but you posed the question, but which
Um,
volcano? I was kind of thinking like an
it
American
doesn't say yet.
volcano.
I just read the
If
title to
it's
you.
if it's not an American volcano, then it doesn't have to abide by United States Park Services,
Oh,
like Park Services rules and stuff.
it's in
And those
Chile.
volcanoes can get hairy.
It's in Chile.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a lot of active volcanoes down there.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
I think health and safety standards are a little bit more lax in Chile than they are here. So you could probably get a lot closer to a volcano.
um, well, this girl fell 2,000 feet.
Oh,
Climb
wow.
it. It says the climber wrote online she felt uncertain, end quote, felt uncertain before falling 2,000 feet into the volcano. A climber has died after plunging 2,000 feet to her death down a volcano on her 42nd birthday. Ingrid Daniela Vera Figueroa was climbing with a group of friends when the accident occurred around 3 p.m. on Sunday. The mom of two posted a birthday message on social media just hours before her death ahead of the climb. Ahead of the climb up Lama volcano, one of the largest and most active volcanoes in Chile, she said, end quote, it's 3 in the morning and we're finishing packing our backpacks to ascend Lama. I hope God accompanies me with this wonderful day on which I'm turning 42 and I'm super happy. Yes, I have a little uncertainty about what's going to happen, Ingrid, who worked as school governor at Alexander Graham Bell School in Villarica City in Chile, plunged to her death from a height of around 2,000 feet while taking photos on the descent. She reportedly released her ice pick, lost her balance, possibly exasperated, exacerbated by the winds, and slipped and fell down a steep, a steep ravine, preventing a rescue helicopter from reaching the site. Ingrid's death was confirmed that evening, but her body could not be recovered until Monday morning around 6:30 a.m. due to the continuing poor conditions. A joint operation involving police, firefighters, volunteers, and representatives from the National Forest Corporation successfully retrieved her remains. Director Hector Talaria said that the hiking group did not register with the park authorities or carabineros, that's one word, beforehand. Contrary to protocol, he warned of adverse weather this week with sub-zero temperatures and demanding high mountain conditions, and urged all climbers to register properly for safety. Uh, yeah, that's it. Um, this guy, I mean,
Carabineros
this
sounds like it would probably be the like climbing authority or mountain rescue.
that's what I was thinking.
But yeah, so what I'm seeing here, MSN.com says birthday climb tragedy that she died after a 2,000-foot fall on the volcano during a birthday climb with friends. Was it her birthday?
Yeah, her 42nd birthday. She
And
didn't.
then they just decided, let's not bother with any official
They didn't
paperwork or
register or
safety
nothing.
or
Just
anything. Let's
decided
just spur of the moment, just go do it, right? Yeah.
to take some selfies.
Uh,
A volcano is not the place to go without registering yourself, because then they don't know to come find you. This person hasn't come down yet.
they're lucky. I mean, they're lucky. She's lucky to even have her body recovered. The people with her, and the only
Yeah,
reason she's able to not just have disappeared forever.
yeah, that's one of
Oh,
the most active volcanoes in the world. It said.
I mean, and felt uncertain before falling. What I don't know what that means. Of course, if that's
She,
all that she provided, all the info that she, if those are her literal words, felt uncertain,
yeah,
then I guess
she
that's
wrote that. That was the when she posted something. She put felt uncertain, and right before that. So
oh
um, that's it.
yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah, she's lucky. They lucky. I mean, not lucky, but they have her body, because if she would have fell in the lava, that wouldn't have been recovered at all.
I
Um,
don't know if it's a lava thing or just like she fell off a cliff face and it was just such a drop that they couldn't get to it and there was too much weather. They couldn't get a helicopter to drop people and lift back up and just had to wait.
That's what it
Um,
sounded like to me.
yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
messed
don't.
up.
Just because it's an active volcano doesn't mean that at that moment, right where they were, it was spewing lava. Like she was leaning over the edge, looking down at the um I highly doubt that that would be even accessible in a
I would
single
hope
day
not.
climb by a person on their birthday, spur of the moment. Or maybe it's just like the mountain climbers equivalent of poaching. Go
Mm.
go climb and take selfies without telling the authorities first. Don't check with the weather, just go do it. Don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness or help in an emergency, because they'll still come either way as to the best of their abilities. I don't know. People should just do it correctly, safely.
Do you think there's a safe way to climb a volcano? Honestly, it just doesn't
Um,
seem very safe to me.
there is a safest way. I mean, you
That's
can
true.
take as many steps to keep it safe as you possibly can, and she did not do those steps. I mean, most of those steps. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can make it much safer than that, at least.
Could have. Uh,
That's, I mean, sad. And mother, how many children does she have?
I forgot before I closed that
I
article.
hope the children weren't with her.
Um, it
Well, I don't know,
did not
42.
say.
She could have adult children. They could have been old enough to climb with her, I suppose. Right? Hmm.
Very much possible. Uh,
Well, so I was thinking the way thesun.com over in Britain phrases it horror as mum, M-U-M, mum 42 plunges. So when they say mum, I'm picturing like, 6, 8-year olds. And it's chaos and stuff. Try to corral that on your way up a mountain. Not gonna happen.
um, yeah, I don't agree. Being up there on a volcano, I didn't even know they did that. Take you up there. It just seems like something people shouldn't do because you never know when it's going to happen. It's not like you can check the weather channel. It's going to show it's going to happen today.
It's not like
I
you could
would,
probably run from it either.
right. Um, I'm gonna look on Google, I mean on YouTube for some examples because I never really seen people on top of a volcano. But of course, you check the internet, there'll be some pictures somewhere. Um, uh, yeah, I understand what you mean, Mark. I see your thing. That's the whole reason I sent it to you. Just one day.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you never know who's
Spread
everybody out there watching. Please press that thumbs up. It really helps us. I'm here with no bathroom breaks. Dedication.
I drink too
Uh,
much coffee for that.
Are you in need of one? Is that what you're saying? If
no,
you
I'm
can, you
not.
can go. We'll give you permission. You can get up.
I'm all right.
It's
Uh,
okay.
I'm gonna pass.
Mm,
I don't need to. Uh,
okay.
Then you're not drinking enough water.
I'm not. I actually I can agree with you there. Uh, I have water here. I just not been drinking it. Mm.
How about this one? I just saw this morning a little bit of a shift. Sony erases digital content from libraries, and we're reminded we don't own what we buy. Sony's scaling down the digital store for a few has been scaling it down for a few years. Sony informed PlayStation customers in the United Kingdom that they will no longer be able to watch previously purchased movies and shows from production and distribution company Studio Canal. As of September 1st, affected customers will no longer be able to stream 551 titles from the PlayStation Store. An illegal notice, first spotted by gaming news outlet PlayStation Lifestyle, Sony said that affected customers will lose the ability to stream titles including Outrage, Way of the Yakuza. Oh, that's a big loss. Paddington 2, also big losses. Pan's Labyrinth, that's a cool one. Rambo 3, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Oh, man. And The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Quote, due to our content licensing agreements. As of September, Sony will remove any affected titles that UK users bought from their PlayStation library. Per the notice, it's possible that Sony may still make a deal with Studio Canal by September 1st or even after that would allow users to keep watching the content they bought. This happened in 2023 when Sony said it would have to pull 1,318 seasons of Discovery shows from customers' libraries. Wow! Seasons. 1,000 seasons of shows. And Discovery makes a boatload of episodes each season. I mean, it's mostly like reality stuff. Yeah, right. Just
From
like
Kate, First Alert Weather.
um, a few
I'd be
weeks
pissed
after,
if I bought something and
yeah,
then they just decided to, oh, we're not going to keep that anymore.
right, yeah, that's not cool, man.
It's
There is
right,
like
like going back to the olden
are they
days where we could actually buy stuff and have a hard copy.
are they
Yeah,
getting refunded?
no,
No. Oh, that sucks too.
yeah, get out of here with that kind of thought. No
Mm.
way. Uh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, a few weeks after its announcement, Sony said that it would not pull the content because it had updated its licensing arrangements with Discovery. Okay, so maybe this is just a game of chicken, negotiating chicken, who's gonna swerve and make the concession first. But still, affected customers shouldn't keep their hopes too high. Sony already pulled 314 Studio Canal titles from libraries in Germany and Austria in 2022. More recently, Sony deleted people's Funimation digital libraries after it decided to merge the anime streaming service with Crunchyroll. Sony also, or has also, been scaling down its digital store and stopped selling movie and show rentals and purchases in August 2021. Scaling down digital store. Okay, sorry.
I gotta check mine. It's
Gonna
not in the
go.
States, right?
It sounds like it's the UK right now.
Okay.
Not entirely sure yet.
I'll look it
Even
up.
okay, yeah, yeah. Even if Studio Canal were willing to make a deal with Sony, it's feasible that Sony has less interest in retaining digital titles than before. Yeah. I mean, why would they necessarily even need to provide it anymore, right? They got the money.
Right.
Regardless, the incident is a reminder that we don't own the stuff we purchase digitally. Yep. Instead, digital rentals and purchases are merely long-term licenses that are only valid for as long as the streaming service has the right to distribute said content. Often, that's a finite amount of time. Still, Sony's announcement has frustrated some, including those who believe Sony should offer refunds. Or, yeah, right? Yeah, Pookie. Refunds? Mm,
They should get a refund.
yeah. Don't hold your breath, but yeah. Or who think digital stores should stop using terms like purchase for long term rentals. Also, yeah, if they
Yeah.
can just, boop, no, then it's not been purchased. Yes, it's like,
Mm.
I'm blank. I don't know. I lost the name. I lost the comparison.
All right, I got something a little more interesting, maybe. It says,
It's pretty
baby
interesting.
almost beaten to death. Baby almost beaten to death by other kids, allegedly left filthy apartment. Mom's left allegedly filthy apartment to drink and do drugs. A baby was almost beaten to death by two other young children after their moms allegedly left them locked in a filthy Texas apartment so they could go out and drink and do drugs. Sydney Witt, 21-year-old, and Jacqueline Morales, 29-year-old, allegedly confined the 2-month-old baby in the two-bedroom of fly-infested apartment littered with rat feces with two children, ages 6 and 4, while the woman went to a hotel to drink and do drugs with a man, according to the Smith County Sheriff's Office. While they were gone, the young children allegedly horrifically abused the baby. Um, my eyes are watering now because I'm crying, but it's happening. Tossing it all around and stomping on its head until it suffered a brain bleed and started having seizures. Uh,
Oh,
the children were left in the care of Morales' sister, Shelby Muniz, uh, 18 years old, who allegedly told detectives she knew what was happening, but didn't believe their safety was her responsibility because of the kids, and quote, were not hers, according to KLTV. Muniz was charged along with Witt and Morales. When the
Good.
woman returned to the apartment, they allegedly noticed the child's injuries but didn't seek medical attention until the next day. The
what the
sheriff's
hell?
office told the outlet that upon arrival at the hospital, the infant was placed in medically induced coma and placed on a ventilator. When Child Protective Services visited the home, they found it had no air conditioning in a sweltering Texas summer heat and was infested with flies. End quote, infested with flies. The Friday, the, the floor of the home was also, end quote, heavily littered with rat feces, diapers, and clothing, according to the sheriff's office. All three women were charged with child endangerment and injury to a child and are being held on a combined $500,000 bond. Um, that's it.
What the fuck?
Uh,
Yeah, just I
the 18-year-old, it killed me when she said, I didn't do anything, they're not my children.
right.
Uh,
It's a you were left in charge, but it's not my problem. They left me in charge of these children, but it's not my problem. I didn't think they were doing anything wrong.
uh, yeah, children watching children. So yeah, that's all I had for the day. That was the last article, and that one was the most. That was the worst today so far. out of my articles, Mark had a few things about Sharia law that were kind of rough, but I don't want them coming for you. So we'll avoid that one today.
I mean, all I said was what the hadiths say, what the Quran says, and the Sunnah, the biography of Muhammad. Those three together combined form the basis of Sharia law.
Mm.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
I
not
got another
making it up.
article.
If they come for me, that's
I got another article here. And I had this one because mine made because just the epilepsy. Uh, but the smells and the taste, metallic taste, I get that. I wouldn't say often, like
once a week or anything like that. Did my mic go off?
A little bit
How about now?
better.
All right. Yeah, it says a metallic taste in my mouth turned out to be incurable cancer. June Kelly, 48 years old, was the fittest she had ever been when a bizarre symptom struck in March 2021. The business owner had spent years of pushing herself through triathlons, half marathons, and even took part in the Great North Swim twice when things suddenly changed. I was getting short of breath and running up the hills, finding it hard to get warm, and I had a strange metallic taste in my mouth that wouldn't go away. She says she soon diagnosed with myeloma, an incurable cancer affecting the blood and bone marrow. Reflecting back to when she was feeling ill, she says, I had asthma, review, and mentioned I was feeling short of breath, walking up hills, and my inhaler wasn't helping. The nurse arranged a phone call appointment with the GP a couple of days later. He sent me for blood tests, and following Monday, I thought it was my asthma or maybe an underactive thyroid, but the doctor did blood tests. The next day, he told me to go to the hospital urgently. My kidneys were failing. It was a huge shock. It was during the pandemic, so my husband came to the York Hospital, but wasn't allowed in the ward because at the York Hospital discovered her kidneys were working at just 5% and she needed urgent dialysis and a transplant. I had a neckline fitted following day and 2 hours of dialysis in June from Macclesfield leaders' calls. Um, it felt like my life was coming and crashing down. Doctors told June her kidneys were failing, were behind, and bizarre metallic taste. A week later, March 30th, the business owner was dealt a further blow when the test revealed she had myeloma, leaving June reeling. Kidney failure is a common complication of myeloma. The mom of two, who had been training to be a florist, began chemotherapy the day after her diagnosis with weekly injections for 4 months. When I was told it was myeloma, it was completely blew my world apart. I was the first I'd ever been in my real life. I'd gone from feeling a bit tired and having a strange taste in my mouth to being told my kidneys were failing and then that I had incurable blood cancer, June explains. June says telling her son Max, now 25, and daughter Mia, now 20, was one of the hardest things about her cancer diagnosis. Her husband Adrian, 57 years old, chose to read everything about myeloma, but protect her mental health. She deliberately tried to restrict the information she read. I told the doctors to let me know what to do, and I will do it, she says. In my head, I knew that whatever happened, I needed to be well enough to meet my sister's baby as she was pregnant and due that year. After her diagnosis, June had CT scan that showed a fracture in her lower back. I had a few lesions on my pelvis, hips, and ribs. I did have a bone strengthening infusion at first, but my dialysis specialist was concerned about how much was staying in my body and how much wasn't. Now I have injection every 6 months to strengthen my bones. Thankfully, she didn't experience many chemotherapy side effects, and treatment and dialysis made her feel so much better. It made me realize just how unwell I'd been, June explains. Last September, she underwent a stem cell transplant at Queen's Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham. After 100 days, my bone marrow was checked, and I started on maintenance chemotherapy in tablet form. I take it 21 days, then I have a week off, she explains. Due to her cancer, June cannot have kidney transplant and undergo dialysis 3 times a week. She with other cancer patients, sought help with other cancer patients. I didn't want to get involved with the support groups at the beginning in my diagnosis, but as things have gone on, it helps to connect with people going through the same thing, she says. I told my sister-in-law, who also has blood cancer, when I have felt really angry, and she has reassured me it's normal and it does pass. But despite it all, she determined to live life to the fullest, as has brought her camper van with Adrian to explore the UK. Then they made it to the Scottish Highlands and Loch Ness, stopping for a dialysis and liverness along the way. Um, yeah. Oh,
That's a bad circumstance for the week. Like to have all that happen all at once,
yeah.
that would be devastating.
I'm constantly getting that metallic taste, and I only read the description. So
Well, what the odds of both her and her sister-in-law having blood cancer
Yeah,
are
that's unusual as
phenomenally
well.
small. Unusual is an understatement.
Yeah,
The way the statistics work, when you have like a certain percentage of the population has X condition, and then a certain other percentage of the population has Y condition, then the odds of having both is basically just multiply the two together, right? So what are the odds that one person would have blood cancer, right? You take that, and then what are the odds that one person would have blood cancer, right? So you basically just square the odds. So, I mean, if it's like 1 in 100,000, then that goes to like one in what, a billion?
um,
Is that the right number of zeros? I don't know.
probably more.
I'm
Oh
sure
my.
you're much better at math than I am.
I don't know. I like the type of math with all the letters and stuff. The numbers is just once you finish and just have to crunch the arithmetic. But yeah, the that's something that a lot of people have said over the years, that when you have a math education, once you get past a certain point, it like breaks your brain, and your ability to do certain like basic arithmetic just disappears. And
That's interesting.
I definitely relate to that. I used to be really good at doing numbers, like mental arithmetic, and lately, I don't know. That's also, I mean, I do have, I don't know if you guys know this, I do have epilepsy. And that affects my ability to think and remember things, wouldn't you know?
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
I wonder why
Um,
my memory is bad. That's why.
yeah. Um,
Actually, I don't think it's the epilepsy. I think it's the medication.
I think the
yeah,
meds have a lot to do with it.
we can blame both of them. Yeah. We'd all be like Mensa geniuses if only we didn't have epilepsy.
Yeah. Press
Oh
that
well.
thumbs up for you guys that are sitting there watching
Oh,
us. Thank
I
you.
used to be smart.
yeah.
I don't
I
feel very
don't,
smart anymore.
I don't feel so smart either. I just know a lot of trivial information that's absolutely useless in like day-to-day life. But it's interesting. I can't stop collecting that stuff, right?
It's good exercise for your brain.
I had something. Oh, I read that one. You
Well, and
guys,
here you said you were, oh, okay, wait, yeah, you read that one. I was gonna say, here you said that was, you had read everything you had lined up for the day, and now this
I
is the
did.
second article after you said that. But, no, you already read that, so let's see. Are you really done?
Oh no, it was just talking about the heat wave in Eastern
Yeah.
Europe. The article about it killing 1,300 people. Uh,
Yeah. Is that in France?
yes, not sure. It says the in the UK.
Oh,
Oh
1300
no,
in,
this says Eastern U.S. to broil after heat wave kills 1,300 in Europe. That's the one reason I got that. Um,
yeah. Heat
yeah,
dome here
you're gonna
and heat
broil. It
dome over
says.
there? Or is it, is it the same phenomena? Or are they
This is June 29th,
just
so
saying, it's hot over here, but the Europeans have it worse? They don't have
um,
AC either. I
I'll
don't
read the
know. Are
article.
there temperatures? You already read that article.
I did?
That's what we opened with, right? I
No,
know
not
you read
this.
that article. I mean, unless you've got another article about
We talked about it. I didn't
people
read the
dying
article.
and morgues overflowing, and I mean, we
Yeah, I got
gotta
nothing else on the
we
list.
gotta get some foreign aid and send some window unit air conditioners over there. Get
Yeah, they're
them,
definitely sold out.
yeah,
The the funeral homes were the selling caskets. The place where they sell caskets, they said they were sold out.
yeah, that's crazy.
No one keeps a
And
stash of 1,300.
no, yeah. I mean, well, you gotta consider whatever like the normal death rate is there. Um, these 1,300 deaths are above and beyond like already on top of that, right? None of these 1,300 deaths would have been part of a normal calendar year. So whatever production pipeline they have for casket making did not have everything all in place to provide or replace existing stock of what they need for the caskets over there. So I don't know. Are they going to start having to cobble together pine boxes?
What
I
happened
mean,
when COVID hit and all those people died? I remember hearing about they set up like parking lot morgues and stuff, but I don't
yeah,
remember hearing about like running out of caskets and urns.
I don't know. Well, I mean, urns are like anything's an urn if you're creative enough.
That's
Um,
true.
plus you can just spread it, toss it. Um, I don't know. I would assume probably a lot of cremations, because otherwise, what else can you do? Group cremations? Yeah, I don't know. I
I've-
never thought of that, and I never looked up. It's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be an itch in my head now. I'm gonna have to figure this out. What happened?
I'm sorry.
Uh, oh yeah, I got some other stuff here.
Google, what happened to all the COVID bodies?
Um, yeah, everybody, thank you for watching. We're gonna get going and see you guys on Saturday. I don't know why I never know the day of the week, but yeah.
You don't have
Next
a reason
time.
to know.
We can always
Yeah.
just say next time. Until next
See you
time.
next time.
We got to figure out like
I'll get it right next time.
an outro kind of thing. Yeah.
Thanks for watching us.
Thanks. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll get something.
Thumbs
Yeah.
up, like, share,
Thumbs up.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Appreciate your
And
support.
cut.
Above all, thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
And